Beyond these pages lies a world of gods, monsters, betrayal, and impossible power.
He's asleep in class when the teacher finally notices. All his classmates laugh, calling him a loser who can do nothing but sleep. Only his friend knows the truth. When Lu sleeps, he has nightmares. Just like this time. He can never get proper rest because he has the same dream over and over again. A scorched wasteland where only monsters roam. But what Lu and no one else knows is that in this dream world, he can gain skills and memories from the monsters he kills. When class finally ends, he goes home hoping to get some real sleep. Instead, he finds his parents waiting for him. They've spent their last savings on a potion that's supposed to increase his abilities. Lu doesn't want to disappoint them, so he drinks it and goes to train in his room. But no matter how hard he tries, nothing works. The cursed nightmares have drained even the little strength he had left. When he sits down to rest for a moment, he immediately passes out from exhaustion. Once again, he finds himself in the same nightmare. This time, a zombie attacks him right away. It nearly bites him, but Lu kicks it away and smashes its head with a rock. When the zombie finally falls, he relaxes, hoping it's over. That's when black energy starts flowing into his body straight from the corpse. Lu suddenly sees all of the zombie's memories, its entire life and death. At the same moment, a second zombie attacks from behind. Without even realizing it, Lu tears it apart. Shocked, he understands what just happened. He didn't just gain the zombie's memories, he also inherited its strength and skills. Even better, this nightmare world wasn't just a random illusion. It was set 10,000 years in the future, meaning the foundational body-refining methods he could obtain there were thousands of times more advanced than anything in the present. Lu Shen could hardly believe what he is experiencing. He considers that perhaps it's just a dream. But everything feels far too vivid, too real. As the second zombie's memories surface in his mind, Lu sees a vision of a nearby military base. He deduces that such a place must exist nearby in this world. If he finds it, maybe he can finally understand the strange truths hidden within his dreams. Strangely, absorbing this second memory doesn't cause him the same pain or confusion as before. Instead, it enhances his combat awareness. He feels stronger, faster. The memories of the zombies prove surprisingly useful, feeding him battle instincts he never had. But just as he's starting to process this, something unknown strikes him, and he collapses to the ground, unconscious. When he awakens, he finds himself safely back at home. A familiar voice calls out to him, snapping him out of his daze. It's his younger sister, summoning him for dinner. He opens the door to find his sister, Lu Xinghe, waiting. She scolds him for napping instead of practicing, but stops when she notices his sweat-soaked shirt and the muscles underneath. Trying to hide her surprise, she quickly turns away and reminds him about dinner. As she walks off, Lu watches her go, thinking back to when they used to play together all the time. Things changed after she topped the school. Her attitude shifted, and the distance between them grew. But it's not surprising. Her ki blood level is already a perfect one, and her combat ability is likely over 100. She's on track to enter one of the top martial arts universities. Compared to her, Lu considers himself just a useless brother. Still deep in thought, he lifts his shirt and checks his reflection in the mirror, only to be shocked. Somehow, he has developed well-defined muscles. He doesn't feel weak at all, despite just waking up. In fact, he feels completely refreshed, as though filled with vitality. The memories from his dream remain crystal clear. He begins to wonder, could the powers and memories he absorbed in his dream have crossed over into reality? Is it possible to become stronger through dreams alone? The real world he lives in is a supernatural one, where people wield inhuman powers that transcend normal human limits. Around 300 years ago, dimensional cracks appeared across the world, unleashing terrifying monsters that wreaked havoc. At the same time, humans began awakening strange powers within themselves, exponentially boosting their strength. This marked the beginning of the martial arts era. People trained hard to unlock their hidden potential, striving to master the martial arts buried deep within them. At the dinner table, Lu devours his mom's rice bowl like a starving pig. It's just too good. He can't stop and quickly asks for more. Even after several dishes, he's stuffed and a bit confused about why he's eating so much. His dad chuckles, saying they won't let him leave the house hungry. He tells his wife to cook more for Lu and promises to get him some tonics tomorrow, urging him to use this time to get his health back on track. Qinghe, unimpressed, points out that Lu is already 18 and that the last time he had a checkup, his ki blood level was only 0.8. Their father snaps at her, reminding her that there's a massive difference between standard martial arts universities and the elite institutions. Meanwhile, Lu reflects on everything that's happened. If just dreaming could increase his health status, is this still a dream, or is it something more? He decides that he needs to test his strength. After dinner, our boy goes to a local judo club. He recalls that this club is run by Master Hong Chuan, whose family is renowned for a specialized boxing technique. The club itself is one of the top 10 martial arts academies in Baihe City. Master Hong Chuan holds the title of a rank 4 martial artist and is a recognized black belt under the combat system. In this system, A rank 1 martial artist has 1.5 ki and 150 combat power. Rank 2 jumps to 15 ki and 1,500 combat power. Rank 3 is even crazier, 100 ki and over 10,000 power. Rank 4 warriors break 200 ki and can hit over 100,000 in combat strength. Lu grows nervous thinking about this steep power scale. Rank 1 martial artists are already treated with immense respect in society, but those at the highest tier are viewed almost as superhumans. As he studies the registration board at the club, he notes the high tuition fees. It's clear only wealthy families can afford this kind of training. He knows that if Qinghe had been the only child, his family might have been able to afford her admission, but now they're stretching themselves thin. As Lu is thinking about it, a receptionist greets him, asking if he's here to register for classes. Lu instead states his intention to check his ki power and combat status. The receptionist, noticing that the boy lacks a personal instructor and seems to be from an ordinary background, quietly assumes he isn't from a wealthy family. Still, she directs him to room 8, informing him that there is a machine there to measure his stats. Lu confidently heads to the designated room, already familiar with how the system works. Once inside, he approaches the machine and places his hand on it to check his health status. The display shows a reading of 0.9. This result both surprises and excites him as his ki status has increased by 0.2. And all of it just from a 1-hour dream. He's amazed that such a short nap boosted his stats so much. Maybe he's finally catching up to his genius little sister, and if this keeps up, he might actually go far in the martial arts world. Next, Lu decides to test his combat power. He strikes the machine with focused force, channeling the battle techniques and experiences he absorbed from the zombies. The machine vibrates under the impact, and the screen reveals his combat power has reached 113. This leaves Lu stunned. His combat strength has skyrocketed, even though his ki status saw only a modest increase. He realizes he might actually be on the path to becoming a real martial artist. He starts calculating, if sleeping just 1 hour led to this much growth, what would happen if he slept for 3, 9, or even an entire day and night? However, at nighttime our boy is unable to sleep, despite wanting to. This frustrates him. He used to fall asleep during classes easily, so why is it so difficult now? Glancing at the clock, he notes it's only 9 p.m. and suspects it might simply be too early for him to fall asleep. Deciding to tire himself out, he gets up to train. Lu begins practicing the techniques he remembered from the zombies' memories. As he repeats the movements, he notices how clearly he now understands where he had been going wrong before. The memories he absorbed are filled with techniques that the zombies must have learned while they were still alive. As his training continues, Lu completes the same sequence 200 times, pushing himself to his limits. With each repetition, he feels his strength increasing. He acknowledges that this power growth isn't just from physical training. There's something deeper at play. The memory and energy absorption from his dream seems to be having a direct impact on his development in the real world. After a tough training session, Lu's hit with a hunger so intense he can barely stay on his feet. It's clear his stronger body now burns through energy like crazy, and regular food just isn't cutting it anymore. He figures he needs herbs or supplements, but with his family's tight budget,
that's not happening anytime soon. Worried that a lack of proper nutrition might slow down his physical development, Lu realizes he needs to start earning money. He considers aiming for performance-based rewards from school, such as scholarships. The next day at the men's locker room at the gym, Ming expresses his frustration that the teacher hasn't even graded their papers yet. However, as Ming looks at Lu, he's stunned to see well-defined abs on his front body. Lu's physique has turned dramatically in just 3 days, the point where Ming barely recognizes him. He jokes about how Lu must have built that body just to impress girls, doubting he would train this hard just for the day's combat session. Lu, however, encourages his friend to focus on the upcoming exams and not assume everyone trains for the same shallow reasons. As Lu and Ming walk off, our boy sees it as the perfect opportunity to prove himself. In the martial arts hall, instructor John is coaching them on live combat. Ming shares that he's heard Zhang is a rank 2 martial artist who's actually found beasts on the battlefield. He points out the scars on the instructor's face and hands as proof. Lu, observing quietly, finds Zhang's techniques surprisingly simple. Though the class struggles to follow along, Lu has already mastered these movements more effectively through the dream memories he absorbed. Instructor John continues to teach the class with precision and care. He ends the session by calling on a student named Young Yifei to demonstrate what was taught. Yifei confidently steps forward, assuring the teacher that he understands the vision. As he walks out, many girls in the class admire his good looks and strong presence, whispering that no one else in class seems as powerful. Ming gets jealous as Yifei steals the spotlight again, like always. With his good looks, money, and that premium pill boosting his ki to 1.2, it feels like everything just falls into place for him. Even the teachers seem to favor him because of it. Master Zhang and Yifei begin sparring in front of the class, demonstrating combat techniques. Watching them, Ming starts to feel disheartened, questioning how ordinary students like them could ever compete with someone like Yifei. Meanwhile, Lu thinks back to how he used to feel the same, but not anymore. Now he's ready to fight for what he wants. As the demonstration ends, Master John evaluates Ifei's performance, stating that while it wasn't bad, he struggles with maintaining balance. The instructor promises to give him more guidance in future sessions to help refine his movements, and assures him that a bright future lies ahead. Master John then calls for another student to join Yifei for part the brightest. Yifei thanks the instructor politely, but internally he thinks little of him. To Yifei, John is just a low-ranking martial artist who doesn't even come close to the standards of his elite family. He believes his future is already set and far superior to anyone else in the room. As soon as the instructor asks if anyone wants to spar with Yifei, tension spreads across the class. Ming mutters to himself that there's no one capable of taking Yifei on. He sees the whole thing as a setup to humiliate the rest of them. Master John, observing the setup, he called frustrated. The setup's every time. No one wants to spar with Yifei. He sees most of them as cowards, too afraid to push themselves. They expect to learn, but how can he teach students who won't even try? With just basic training, most of them are headed for supply duty, not real combat. He knows Yifei's his top student. No one else really comes close. But then he spots Lu, and it catches him off guard. That steady gaze, calm posture, there's real strength there. Curious, he calls Lu up. As the boy steps forward without hesitation, Master John can't believe he's overwalked a step out hesitant. Ming tries to stop his friend, urging him not to risk injury so close to exams, but Lu reassures him that he's trained hard and walks toward the instructor with confidence. Master John tells the group he will allow just 10 minutes for the sparring session, emphasizing that neither participant is to cause injury to the other. Lu and Yifei take their positions, standing face to face. The instructor announces the start of the power test. Watching Lu closely, Master John notes that the boy shows no sign of fear. His face remains completely closed. He wonders how he had failed to notice someone like him earlier. He asks Lu about his key status, and the boy says it was 0 point last time he checked. That seems low, but looking at the boy's build, the instructor starts to wonder if he's missing something. Still, he warns Lu to be careful. It's a real combat test, and injuries can happen. Then he signals for the match to start. As they prepare, Yifei begins outlining the dangers of the fight. He warns Lu not to break his fall with his hands, or he could fracture them. Fracture on the joints could break a tense. He could fracture Lu to protract his core, especially his head. Meanwhile, our boy silently assumes his combat stance, calm and focused. Without wasting time, Yifei launches an unexpected strike on Lu. As he moves, he runs through his strategy, control the distance, watch the opponent, and time the counter. From there, it's all about keeping your guard, turning the fight in your favor, and sizing up their strength. Only then does a real powerful attack come in. That to him is true vitality, speed, and power work in legality. Yifei intensifies his assault and confidently assumes this match is one-sided, with victory always favoring the stronger. He sees opponents like Lu as destined for shameful defeat. But to everyone's surprise, Lu dodges the attack and counters with a powerful punch that sends him flying through the air. He crashes far away, motionless. The students freeze as the master rushes over and lifts Yifei's limp body. Seeing that everyone is in disbelief that the boy just defeated Yifei with his punch, even Lu is a bit stunned by the force at his own it. Meanwhile, the master quickly orders the crowd to disperse and tells someone to fetch the medical team immediately. With that, Yifei is put on a stretcher as he's carried away. Lu, visibly shaken, approaches the master and admits he didn't intend to go that far. He simply lost control of his strength. The master reassures him, saying injuries during combat training are common, and tells him not to worry. The injury isn't too serious. He then instructs Lu to follow him to the office for further discussion. Lu agrees and, on his way with the master, informs Ming to let the next class teacher know about it. Meanwhile, the students are still in disbelief. Some wonder if Lu is using enhancers, while others can't believe he's the same guy they used to know. Yifei had a 1.2 key status and still got dropped in a second. Now everyone's thinking the same thing. Just how strong has Lu become? Meanwhile, Lu enters the master's office. While waiting, he notices a tree and comments on the master's unexpected hobby. The master confirms it is indeed a hobby and adds that everyone has their secrets, implying that Lu might understand, given what he just pulled off with a 0.8 key score. The master brings up the obvious concern that Lu used drugs to artificially boost his health status. He reminds him that such substances are banned in school due to their harmful effects and that, if discovered, the consequences would go beyond a simple warning. Hearing this, Lu starts to panic and denies knowing anything about Sims talks. To Swartz, he cuts a new thing away his subters. Hearing this, the master pulls out a glowing orb and says they will recheck Lu's key status. If Lu is telling the truth, his health reading will be stable. After checking the QI, the master plans to test his strength. If both readings are clean, Lu will be proven innocent. Without hesitation, Lu places his hand on the orb. The moment he touches it, the orb begins to radiate an intense surge of energy. The master's eyes widen in disbelief as the numbers appear. Lu's key status now reads 1.5. Shot. The master's thoughts race that at 1.5 reading qualifies Lu as an official martial artist, and he's only 18 years old. This has never happened in the school's history. Next, Lu steps up to test his strength and punches the machine really hard. It flies off, smashes through a tree, and slams into the wall. The master sees his poor tree destroyed and starts tearing up. Alarmed, Lu rushes over and pulls the broken device from the wall, apologizing and insisting it wasn't intentional. But the master remains on his knees, clutching a downward tree. Unable to contain his emotions, his thoughts spiral. This strength testing machine is specifically built for student-level use and can typically handle even entry-level martial artists. But Lu's raw power has surpassed even that of a rank 1 martial artist. Now seated across from each other, the master probes further. Lu had claimed his last recorded key status was 0.8. The master asked him how long ago that was. Lu replies that it was when he received a recent assignment. That statement alarms the master. That's when we has the nonsense. In order to leave, the master tries to process this. In just 2 weeks, Lu's key status has more than doubled, surpassing even official martial artist levels. The master suspects he must be from a noble family or perhaps trained by a grandmaster, but Lu dismisses both. He says he comes from an ordinary family and has no elite teacher. As for his rapid growth, he claims it stems from a secret he cannot share. The master sits in silence, overwhelmed. In just half a month, this boy has done what takes others years. Has Karmath strength overwhelmed exceeds that of the went one martial others. The master reflects on his own journey. He had good results during his school years and trained relentlessly for years before finally becoming a rank 2 martial artist. Only then did he qualify for military service. But after entering the battlefield, he faced the horrifying truth that defeating monsters is nearly impossible for ordinary humans. Against such creatures, people are like insects. Only those with extraordinary power can stand a chance, people whose strength transcends comparison. These are the kinds of individuals who belong to elite groups, often called monsters themselves because of their overwhelming might. Taking a deep breath, the master accepts the reality. He now understands everything. Given Lu's current capabilities, he deserves a place in the school's elite gifted class. Lu, however, expresses his gratitude for the concern, but insists that the class he's currently in suits him well. Deep inside, though, he believes he can become incredibly powerful through his dreams alone and doesn't really need any class at all. Recognizing his exceptional talent, the master assures that the school will offer its full support. If Lu ever faces challenges in his training, he just has to ask. The school will provide him with everything
he needs. Lu then requests 2 things. He wants to apply for a martial arts scholarship and also asks for permission to take more time off from school. The teacher, sensing there might be financial issues behind the request, agrees without hesitation. He promises to submit the application right away and talk to the dean about easing Lu's attendance. The scholarship will take about 2 days, so he tells Lu to keep training and not waste time. Handing Lu a card in advance, the master tells him to return it once he has the funds. Lu, startled, realizes it's a martial arts black card, something that typically holds at least 100,000 units of currency. Grateful, he thanks the master for his generosity, and the master simply encourages him to keep working hard, explaining that his success will reflect well on the school itself. With that, he sends Lu back to class. As Lu leaves, the master slams his desk in excitement as he's found a real gem. He also realizes he needs to keep Lu under wraps. They might finally have a secret weapon, someone who could survive that dreaded place. After the classes outside in the busy marketplace, a shop employee promotes a new supplement called Orchid Heart, a specialized nutritional tonic developed by the medical hall. It is designed specifically for female martial artists. The product becomes effective once the user's key status reaches 0.8, helping it improve even further. Priced at 30 grand, the tonic catches a customer's interest, and she decides to buy it. As Lu walks by, he spots the same customer holding the tonic she just bought. The woman reminds her daughter that since it's so expensive, she'll have to train harder to make the most of it. The girl grins and says she's got it. She'll take first place in the next exam. Hearing that, Lu can't help but face the reality. 30 grand for a tonic? Even if he trained day and night, there's no way he could earn that much. His parents might be able to scrape together a little, but nowhere near enough. Top martial artists make big money and spend even bigger on nutrition, but for kids like him, just getting by is tough. He thinks of Ching-hei. She's a real genius, someone who could actually change her future, and yet she still shares what little they have with him. Deep down, he knows he's nowhere near her level, and admits he isn't putting in enough effort to change his destiny. In thoughts, he noticed 2 students talking about PC games and remembered he was once like them. He realizes that he's glimpsed an entirely new world of martial arts, yet all he's done is waste time playing games. Deep down, he's always felt tied to his old life, trapped in a fish tank, clinging to safety and too afraid to face the harsh realities of the world. But now, something shifts within him. He shattered the surface of that tank and stepped out, finally confronting reality. For the first time, he sees the real world and makes a decision to change his fate. Though unsure of what lies ahead, he knows one thing: he can't afford to make the wrong choice anymore. Suddenly, a surge of energy rushes through his body. He realizes that the memories of all the monsters he fought in his dreams are merging into him. This unexpected fusion makes him aware that his fighting techniques have improved significantly. As he walks forward, he reflects that he's taken another step into the world of martial arts. He silently promises his mother, father, and Qinghei that he will continue to grow stronger and fight for what he truly desires. Later, Lu finds himself back in a dream. This time, a zombie attacks him, but he quickly deflects the strike using his martial arts technique and knocks it down with a single punch. Observing the zombie's movements, he deduces that it must have been a martial artist in life, as it still uses counterattack techniques even in undeath. Soon, the zombie's memories integrate into his mind, revealing that a base lies nearby. He estimates that the base must be close, but he finds it strange that he has only encountered one monster so far, even though the base should be surrounded by them. As he moves forward, 2 more zombies approach. Without hesitation, Lu charges and eliminates them both. Then, he spots the base in the distance and approaches, thinking to himself that he has finally reached it, base number 1359. When he reaches the base wall, he notices massive cracks. He realizes it's broken, leaving him astonished by its sheer size and intricate design. It's not just a base, it looks more like an entire city. He can't shake the feeling that something strange must have happened here. Climbing up the wall, he observes its sheer 20 meters thickness. Our boy can't even imagine the scale of the battle that could have shattered something so strong. The destruction of such a well-fortified and technologically advanced base leaves him stunned. It's far more advanced than anything from his own world. The thought troubles him. If a civilization this powerful couldn't stop the monsters, then what hope does the future hold for them? As he surveys the base, his eyes land on a damaged headquarters building. As Lu examines the building, he notices a humanoid figure lying in it. At first glance, it appears to be a zombie, but before he can process it further, the creature releases a wave of power so intense that even from a distance, Lu feels it. A surge of fear runs through him, and he collapses to the ground in panic. The shockwave, it isn't ordinary. It radiates psychic force. The intensity of the energy terrifies him. He immediately realizes this place is far beyond what his current abilities can handle. So he decides he must leave, for now, as it's too dangerous. Our boy shifts his focus elsewhere, looking for another area to explore. Nearby, the zombies seem less threatening. With a leap, Lu heads toward a different building and slips inside. It appears to be a standard apartment complex. No signs of zombies here. As he walks around, he picks up a spoon, thinking that the residents must have used it for meals before disaster struck. Despite the ruin outside, the doors and windows remain intact. It seems likely that a virus transformed the people into zombies, not physical destruction. Just then, his eyes catch a strange device resting on a nearby surface. On a hunch, he activates it. Suddenly, a digital interface flickers to life and welcomes him to Heavenly Law's technology. Lu watches in awe. It looks like a hologram of an Instabaddie, but it feels so real. Then he notices something startling. The AI speaks the same language he does. This makes him wonder if the device has some kind of built-in auto-translator, allowing it to communicate perfectly in his dialect. The AI introduces itself as a product of Heavenly Law's technology, a 16th-generation artificial intelligence assigned to manage the network systems of Base 1359. Lu is stunned, as an AI of this caliber clearly comes from a highly futuristic civilization. Thinking about it, the boy wonders if she can provide him with any recent reports. AI immediately begins processing her internal database, searching for relevant data. Within moments, she compiles the information into a digital book and hands it to him. The database details the Martial Alliance world's history, noting that 13 martial artists have reached the 10th rank. It also contains a lot of other critical information about the base. Lu reads all this with growing anxiety. The existence of a 10th rank martial artist shocks him. He realizes that this ranking system mirrors his own worlds, but the levels here are far beyond anything he's ever imagined. As he flips through more pages, AI opens a screen to show him the destruction caused by monsters. In the video feed, monsters pour into the base in overwhelming numbers, destroying everything in their path. Witnessing the devastation, Lu breaks into a nervous sweat. This world thrives on both martial arts and advanced technology, with each domain having evolved to extreme heights. Powerhouses of rank 10 reside here, and cities are protected by towering fortified walls. Yet even with such defenses, these people fail to hold back the monstrous invasion. As Lu studies the AI computer, he discovers that when the people realized they can't stop the monsters, they abandoned their homes and escaped into space, seeking a habitable planet they can call their new home. That same day, the entire civilization collapsed. Since then, no signals or signs have ever been detected from this place. Lu reflects on the situation, believing that when destruction is written into destiny, it cannot be changed. This civilization was incredibly advanced, yet even it couldn't survive. The thought weighs heavy on him. he sinks into a nearby couch, overwhelmed, and asks the AI to show him the history of this world. AI begins retrieving and displaying the data from her archives. As Lu observes, he grows more uneasy. This once powerful civilization still fell, and he realizes he must learn from its history. Maybe that knowledge could help change his own fate. Lu starts reading the records titled First Year of the Martial Arts Era. It marks the appearance of the monsters and the arrival of many strange creatures into the world. This event takes place in the year 34, when the first martial artist possessing inner ki is born in the ancient Dagger Kingdom. That same year, the One Martial Alliance was also founded. A cold realization creeps over Lu as he reads. This isn't some alien world's history, it mirrors his own. Even the language spoken by the AI is just like theirs. The martial art ranking system is identical. Slowly, he grasps that the destruction he witnessed might not be of another world. It could be a vision of their own planet, 10,000 years in the future. He tries to rationalize. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's a parallel universe. Trying to find clarity, Lu stands and requests information about his personal details. The AI begins searching and pulls up a record under the name Lu. As the profile loads, Lu stares at it. It's his own. According to the data, he was born in the year 325 and will live only 28 years. Nothing more than an ordinary citizen. This confirmation hits hard. He quickly asks the AI to search for someone named Qinghe in the year 299. The AI begins its scan but shows error that he don't have sufficient authority. Then it asks for a blood sample to complete the registration process first. Lu wonders how a blood sample can be used in the registration process. Before he can react, the AI bites his finger and extracts a sample. As she collects it, she begins analyzing it while he waits in anticipation. Suddenly the AI starts glitching, and Lu can tell something's off, especially when she says the blood sample's processed and connected to base 1359. Then she adds that the revolution plant is activated, leaving Lu stunned, thinking if it could be part of the plan made by those who left Earth for another planet. As he questions this, a full biodata profile of Lu appears on the screen. Upon seeing it, confusion takes over. His profile picture looks unfamiliar, and his future looks changed. Determined to verify, he recalls his academic and career path. He had excellent grades in school, graduated from Baihei Academy with the 23rd rank across the outer city, and went on to enroll in Baihei's Martial Arts University. After completing his graduation, he served 3 years in the military. During his service, war broke out in the South Zone, and he died in combat. At the time of his death, he was 37 and unmarried. He had held the position of a lieutenant, and contributed nothing beyond that. These revelations unsettle Lu even more as he realizes the future shifted the moment he became stronger. He notices that the data before age 18 remains the same, including the recorded strength boost before his exam. However, he also knows he's not considered a genius in that database, despite his history, because it's already filled with many exceptional talents. There are also flaws in his personal records. His ki level was just 2, and his battle strength was 257 at the time of the exam. But he knows that by using his dream world, he can reach those stats in no time, far faster than through normal training. Lu isn't someone who'll settle for 23rd place in the city. He knows he should be at the top. His future shouldn't be limited like that. If he keeps growing stronger, he believes he can stop the destruction threatening humanity. Getting up in the morning, our boy joins his family for breakfast. His mother notices something and questions why he isn't wearing his school uniform. Lu simply responds that his teacher instructed him to study from home from now on. No need to attend classes physically. This puzzles his sister. She wonders since when school has offered a self-study option. Why had she never heard of it? Meanwhile, Lu finishes his meal and heads out, announcing that he has training to do. His mother wishes him well, but his sister can't help but notice how much he's changing with each passing day. He's no longer the weak, clueless boy she once knew. Just as our boy returns to his room, his phone begins to ring. He answers the call. It's from his teacher, Master Zhang. He informs Lu that his scholarship money has arrived and instructs him to collect it from school in the afternoon. Lu agrees to come but quickly ends the chat, saying he doesn't have time to waste when Master Zhang asks about his absence from school. Internally, Lu acknowledges he doesn't have the luxury to think too much. He resolves to elevate his strength to the highest levels and shock everyone. By showcasing his progress, he hopes to attract more resources and with that, change the future. Later, he enters his dream once again, where he finds himself with AI. He gives her permission to access the database and search for all cultivation methods and martial arts notes. AI begins scanning the database, and soon the search completes, returning an overwhelming 465,000 results. Lu panics momentarily, stunned by the sheer number of entries. He refocuses and instructs the system to find the most suitable and powerful technique specifically for a rank 1 martial artist. AI filters the data, narrowing it down to 34,000 relevant results. She then continues refining the results by power impact, and finally isolates 3 top-tier techniques. Seeing this, Lu breaks into a sweat. These are the top 3 techniques developed over the course of 10,000 years. The first is Star Body Refinement, created by Wang He, a rank 11 powerhouse. The second is Natural Breathing, developed by Yang Yi, also rank 11. The third is the Crystal Visualization Technique, created by Duan Yifeng, yet another rank 11 powerhouse. Lu becomes overwhelmed. Each of these creators belong to rank 11, a level currently unheard of in the modern era, where the strongest martial artists barely reach rank 9. Though these are only entry-level techniques, they remain incompletely documented. Still, their nature is unlike anything from existing project-based cultivation methods. Lu begins to suspect that the great powerhouses of the One Martial Alliance must have predicted the future, yet chose not to change it. Instead, they left behind their life essence, not as salvation, but as seeds of knowledge. They hoped that someone would one day continue the plan. However, our boy knows that he isn't from the future, he's from the past. Motivated by this realization, he begins his training. He starts by practicing the Star Body Refinement Technique, committing fully to the path. In his mind, he understands that now is the time to concentrate. He must focus completely, sharpen his thoughts, and embrace the transformation that lies ahead. Lu is currently refining his ki and blood, a process that puts immense strain on his physical body. His goal is to channel this refined energy into every cell of his heart and mind, pushing each part of himself to absorb the essence of the stars. He aims to transform his physical form into a celestial galaxy, and eventually elevate his inner body into an unstarred field of limitless potential. As Lu reflects, he recalls how his earlier body refining efforts had only marginal effects. But this new star body refining technique is having a far more profound impact. He realizes that for now, he's the only one practicing this rare technique, which makes it even more important for him to understand it deeply. With this in mind, he shifts his focus toward mastering the natural breathing technique. As he exhales, flames begin to escape from his mouth, only to draw them back in with his next breath. A moment later, he opens his eyes, alarmed by what he felt. Like countless fires ignited inside him, his blood seemed to boil, overwhelmed by the heat. And yet, this is only the first stage of the breathing technique. There are several more, each linked to a different elemental force. Excited by the potential, Lu then turns his attention to the next visual crystal technique. This one focuses on purifying the mind and involves a spiritual martial art discipline known for its profound power. He contemplates what it truly means to cultivate spiritual power, recognizing that it might be essential for any martial artist striving for mastery. He decides to try it. As he practices, he eventually opens his eyes, only to see his soul floating outside his body. The sight shocks him. He wonders if this is some kind of mindscape. But the realization hits. Spiritual power is critical in martial arts. It allows one to grow stronger without distraction, and whether it's for combat readiness or peaceful cultivation, everything hinges on one's willpower. Desires, distractions, clarity, each element defines the path forward. Though tempted to explore it all, Lu accepts that he must take things step by step. For now, he decides to pause and learn more before diving deeper. When he finally opens his eyes, he finds himself back in his original world, exhausted from all the practice he's done in the dream realm. Yet, it doesn't feel like just a dream. His entire body is drenched in slime and grime. The overpowering stench shocks him. It's not just sweat. It's a result of the spiritual training's impact on his real body. Somehow the dream has triggered real physical changes, and to him, that's a great sign. He strips off his clothes, thinking it's time to bathe. The star body refining technique and natural breathing technique are clearly working. Both have one core effect, purging the body of impurities. While it's hard to believe such things are even possible, Lu is now living proof that they are. His cultivation is progressing at an unusually fast pace. Once he receives the scholarship money, he plans to refine a few tonics and elixirs for himself. Elixirs that originate from a future 10,000 years ahead. These aren't just meant to boost his physical condition. They're capable of shaking the very foundations of the current medicinal practices in this world. The next day at the Baihei Academy, Master Zhang gives Lu a card, asking him to notify in advance if absent, and Lu apologizes but firmly says he won't be attending for the next few days. The master agrees but insists he should at least attend once a week. As Lu turns to leave, Master Zhang silently reflects that it's only been 2 days, yet he already feels he can't gauge the full extent of the boy's power. Outside the school gates, Lu walks with determination. Now that he finally has some money, addressing his poor key status becomes a top priority. In his possession lies a future medical prescription, one he obtained through the revolutionary database. The tonics he plans to craft with it will help with bones and muscles. Yet even with the perfect formula, crafting these tonics requires professional-grade equipment. No matter how advanced the prescription, without the proper tools, he can't proceed. He doesn't have the funds to purchase an entire professional setup, so renting the equipment from a medical hall becomes his only viable option. He begins visiting various halls, only to face rejection at every turn. At the 7th location, the response is no different. The man scoffs at his request to rent the alchemy lab, accusing him of either joking or underestimating the importance of such facilities. Lu remains unfazed. He had already anticipated this outcome and had bought all the ingredients needed to create the strength-boosting medicine. The card master Zhang gave him holds 880,000, likely a combination of scholarship funds and the master's own contribution. Regardless of how it got there, Lu knows he has no other path now. Buying the necessary equipment online and assembling it himself is his only option. As he continues walking, his eyes catch a glimpse of a small medical hall tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. He steps inside, curious. The place feels different, less formal, more neglected. He approaches the counter, but before he can say much, the shopkeeper instructs him to browse on his own and only bring items to the counter when he's ready to pay. Lu clarifies that he's not there to make a purchase, but the shopkeeper immediately becomes defensive. Every corner of the store is covered in surveillance cameras, and any wrong move will be caught. Lu, watching it all, realizes that despite being rude, the last pharmacy dude was actually trying to help him. As the guy behind the counter is busy gooning around, our boy suddenly slams his phone on the table. The guy looks confused, but Lu doesn't waste time. He asks straight up if they've got a pharmaceutical lab there. The guy's still baffled, but Lu makes it clear he's ready to strike a deal. After a few minutes, they stand together at the lab's entrance. The shopkeeper confirms they've made a deal and that both sides have agreed to it. He sets a condition. Lu can use the lab for a charge of 500 per hour. As he begins to list further terms, Lu cuts him off. He already knows the rest. Of course, the shopkeeper wants advance payment. Shortly after, Lu enters the lab. The shopkeeper, satisfied, gives him permission to begin. Lu puts on the lab coat prepared for alchemic procedures and steps up to the workstation. He begins by prepping the ingredients, starting with a mutant green lizard, which he skins to activate its properties. After liquefying it to the right concentration and condensing it with a moonstone, he hits the mix with a radioactive laser to break it down. Finally, he adds 30 grams of camellia branch, balances the mixture, and pours it into a tube. The result is a dense, powerful liquid, an advanced muscle and blood-strengthening tonic. As Lu stares at the glowing solution, a sense of disbelief washes over him. He never expected to succeed on his first attempt, but here it is, complete, stable, and ready. He decides to test it. He drinks the tonic and waits. At first, nothing happened. The taste is strange, and he wonders if he has failed. But suddenly, a surge of violent and overwhelming energy hits him. In the next moment, he collapses, gasping, but is relieved to find the tonic works even better than expected. His ki skyrockets, strength surges, and his body transforms, hardened, stronger, and side effect free, thanks to a formula born from a civilization 10,000 years ahead. Just then, there's a knock at the door. Someone is calling out to him. Lu stays calm as he opens it, explaining that he still has time left. However, the receptionist insists he must leave immediately through the back door as his boss has returned. Meanwhile, a luxury car pulls up outside, and a woman steps out, heading toward the store. Inside the medical shop's private office, the woman in charge, his boss, is already at the counter. She opens several containers, examining different medicinal products one by one. As she tests each tonic, her expression turns sour. None of them meet her expectations. Their effects are far too weak, so ineffective that even a poor person wouldn't bother buying them. Calling these formulas tonics would be an insult to the word itself. Just then, a commercial begins playing on the office television. On screen, a martial artist shares his journey to promote the Dragon Lake testosterone pill, claiming it gives martial artists the power they need to move forward. It's advertised as both effective and beneficial. Hearing this, the woman grows visibly frustrated. She realizes the world is evolving rapidly. Martial arts is progressing, and so is the medical industry. Every day, new, more powerful medicines emerge, each one quickly outclassing the last. Her family business, however, lags far behind. She blames this on their unwillingness to break old habits and their constant need for internal discussions before starting anything new. This hesitation prevents them from conducting independent research. Due to all that, the entire business now stands on the brink of collapse. If they fail to produce a new and powerful medicine soon, their presence in the industry will become unsustainable. This shop, passed down to her personally by her father, is now in jeopardy. As she walks toward the back door, she makes a decision. If they can't develop a new medicine themselves, then they'll need to collaborate with someone who can. Her thoughts turn to Mr. Zhang, a researcher in the neighboring city, who recently developed a promising new product. As she approaches the back room, the shopkeeper greets her nervously, but she walks past him, heading straight for the lab. The shopkeeper starts to panic. In his mind, though, he finds himself drifting into fantasy. He gazes at her, thinking how beautiful she looks. To him, she seems like a princess straight out of a dream. But just as his daydream begins to unfold, reality crashes in. The woman starts yelling at him, holding up the now clearly used and stained lab coat, and demands an explanation. She wants to know who he allowed into her lab and why the equipment is in disarray. Despite her yelling, the shopkeeper finds her even more beautiful when she's angry. Trying to hide his guilt behind a nervous expression, he insists he did nothing and pretends to have no idea how the mess happened. But the woman cuts him off. She tells him to forget everything and not to show up for work the next day. Panicked, the shopkeeper begs for a chance to explain, but she has already begun cleaning the lab herself. She angrily gathers all the scattered tools and broken equipment, dumping them into a trash bin. While sorting through the mess, her eyes fall on a strange tube. A sudden realization hits her. The contents involve a mutant green lizard. She examines the liquid closely, noticing that the lizard's skin has been completely removed, an essential and potent part of the creature, now stripped away to activate its hidden powers. She's stunned. She's never heard of a method like this before. From the looks of it, someone here has tried to develop an entirely original medicinal process. Whoever it was didn't just use her equipment. They attempted to create their own formula. And that kind of undertaking requires a deep understanding of medicinal chemistry, access to advanced tools, and a significant amount of funding. But then she remembers she is also doing the same herself. Her thoughts trail off as her eyes land on another tube, one that clearly doesn't belong to her. She picks it up. It's filled with a thick liquid, an unfamiliar concoction. As she brings it closer, a faint smell reaches her nose. She immediately recognizes it, the distinct aroma of moonstone condensation. And there's camellia branch mixed in as well. She's shocked. Suddenly intrigued, she dips a small amount onto her fingertip and tastes it. A jolt runs through her body. Something in this medicine catches her completely off guard. Meanwhile, outside the shop, the dismissed shopkeeper walks away in frustration, muttering to himself and blaming everything on Lou. As he gives the store one last look, he's shocked to see the boss rushing toward him, yelling for him to stop right there. He is unable to believe that she might actually have feelings for him. But before emotions get the better of him, she grabs him by the collar, determined to uncover who had been using her lab without permission. Shaking him slightly, she makes it clear, if he finds the person responsible, she'll not only reinstate him, but also double his salary. Dizzy but cooperative, the guy mentions he has a contact number. Hearing that, the boss instantly takes his phone, scrolling through the list. She already knows the tonic she sampled earlier is far superior to anything on the market, at least 10 times stronger than the usual blood fortifiers sold for 100,000. It even improves skin tone. And yet the ingredients are surprisingly basic, with a total production cost under 5,000 yuan. To her, this isn't just a tonic, it's a breakthrough. Without wasting time, she dials the number. Meanwhile, Lou is deep in training. When he opens his eyes, he marvels at the sheer power of the star body refining technique. As a rank 11 martial method, its ability to awaken the body's potential is astonishing. Alongside it, the natural breathing technique enhances the effect even further. His health metrics have improved dramatically, and the strengthening decoction he brewed earlier is already showing great results. He has 12 portions, enough to sustain 2 doses per day, and is determined to refine even more in the coming week. Just then his phone rings. It's the boss lady, introducing herself as Susu, the head of the medical hall. She expresses interest in his formula and proposes a collaboration. Lou, however, declines an immediate meeting, asking for a week's time before any further talks. Susu isn't satisfied with the delay. Frustrated but focused, she turns back to the Gunner and assigns him a mission to find Lou within 6 days, and a handsome reward awaits. The Gunner agrees, slightly confused by her urgency. When asked about the person who used the lab, he explains it was just a student. This revelation puzzles Susu further about who exactly this mysterious young man is. Elsewhere, Lou drifts into sleep, where he dreams of battling a massive zombie. In the dream, he sends the creature's head flying, only for a rank 4 martial artist zombie to catch it midair and crush it effortlessly. Lou charges in, meeting the zombie head-on, but its first strike hits with a force far beyond his own. Though he manages to block it, the impact sends pain through his arms. The creature swings again, but Lou dodges and slips behind it, delivering a sharp kick to the back of its head. The zombie crashes down, and Lou follows up with a swift, slashing kick that ends the fight. With the battle won, he absorbs a portion of the zombie's power and memories. From what he sees, the zombie had once been a martial artist, someone who lost their life defending the city during a monster invasion. Lou silently acknowledges that this was not just an opponent, but a fallen warrior whose strength and bravery lived on. The realization explains the power behind its punches. If not for its missing arm and lack of awareness, Lou admits he probably wouldn't have stood a chance. Nearly a week has passed since he began practicing advanced techniques, star body refinement, natural breathing, and crystal visualization. Combined with the blood and muscle-enhancing decoction, his physical condition has improved rapidly. Thanks to the zombie's memory, he's now mastered a new fist technique as well. Lou understands that if he manages to perfectly merge his physical arts and breathing methods, his strength could multiply exponentially. Later, when more undead attack, he channels all his energy into a single punch. His own newly created technique called Fixed Star Outburst. The ground fractures beneath his feet as the shockwave knocks back his enemies. After the grinding session, our boy heads to the dojo. Inside, he approaches the attendant to request use of the testing machine. Though she raises an eyebrow at his return, suggesting it might be due to the upcoming exam, Lou keeps things casual. Inwardly, he knows most people only check their stats once or twice a year, and this is already his second time this month. But with how fast his power is evolving, staying updated makes sense. He's assigned room 206 and proceeds with the evaluation. The numbers flash on the screen. A key score of 15.6, well beyond the threshold for a rank 2 martial artist. With techniques and tonics thousands of years ahead of their time, Lou figures this result is only natural. Next comes the combat assessment. He rolls up his sleeve and throws a heavy punch. The system calculates a combat power of 3,100, more than double the required mark, thanks to his newly acquired fist technique. Realizing that certain techniques might influence his combat rating, Lou decides to test the limits of his strength. He resets his stance, focuses deeply, and channels energy into a refined version of Fixed Star. As he channels, his eyes gleam with power, and in a flash, the entire testing area shifts with the force of his strike. Outside the room, the attendant notices his exit and remarks on his satisfied expression. Her daydream is cut short by the voice of a boy, who snaps her out of it. The boy's older sister, Ni Shuang, is the daughter of a renowned martial arts academy master, and immediately inquires about the young man who had just left. Embarrassed, the attendant brushes off the moment, casually labeling him as a regular student, though an attractive one. His brother, unimpressed, comments that appearance means little without real strength. In their society, martial prowess defines value, and based on the stranger's modest attire, he assumes he's from a normal background. He argues that such individuals have little chance of advancing, regardless of how often they test their stats. Ni, though aware of the societal divide, frowns at her brother's arrogance. Despite his early access to expensive tonics and advanced training, she reminds him not to underestimate others. She even knocks some sense into him, literally, and tells him that privilege should push him to strive harder, not boast over minor progress. Still curious, the boy pleads to view the assessment results of the mysterious student. Ni agrees, on the condition that he uses the comparison to improve himself, not to belittle others. The attendant, still slightly flustered, brings up the records, confirming that only one student had visited that day. As the result appears on the screen, Ni's jaw drops. A cold sweat forms on her face as she snatches the tablet for a closer look. Her brother, overwhelmed, stumbles back in disbelief, questioning whether the machine is malfunctioning, but the attendant assures them everything is functioning properly. Shocked by the verified data, Ni immediately shifts into action. She orders the staff to gather the details of every student in the area, determined to uncover the identity of the mysterious powerhouse they had just underestimated. The attendant quickly begins gathering student records as ordered, while Ni remains determined to track down the mysterious Lu. Meanwhile, outside the Martial Artists Association building, Lu steps out of a taxi. The driver, clearly fond of their earlier chat, is so taken with him that he even considers introducing his daughter next time. Lu walks away with a faint smile, knowing the driver would have thought he was crazy if he'd mentioned the Level 2 exam. Inside the building, Lu accidentally brushes past a frustrated man who seems shaken by his test result. Apparently, the combat index machines at home had shown much higher numbers, but the association's equipment, custom designed by the authorities, was far more accurate. This detail actually excites Lu. He's eager to get a clearer reading of his true abilities. At the reception, he's directed to fill out a form before heading to the room for his Rank 2 certification. As he waits in line, he initially finds the process slow and uneventful, but his attention shifts when he overhears two other candidates talking about a young woman, elegant, confident, and surprisingly young for someone attempting a certification test. Her presence stands out, especially in a room mostly filled with adults in their mid-20s. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifts. A towering man enters and strides straight past the line, sparking a wave of confusion and whispers. One hopeful candidate, clutching his form with excitement, is shoved aside without warning. He's literally the center of attention for all the participants. However, some complain that he cut the line, until they find out he's there for a Level 3 martial artist certification. That revelation stuns the crowd, silencing complaints. While the crowd buzzes in shock, Lu remains calm. In the world of martial arts, he understands that strength speaks loudest. Power, after all, brings privilege. The staff then call the large man, Zhao Changfeng, forward to begin his key status evaluation as the room quiets down, anticipating the outcome. Despite the confirmation process not being complete, the young woman still finds it hard to accept that Zhao was allowed to skip the line. However, once his key index flashes on the screen, in 107, it becomes clear he's not just qualified, but far above the minimum for a Rank 3 martial artist. The next test begins. As Zhao unleashes his strike, the sheer force sends a shockwave through the room, knocking several applicants off their feet. While most struggle to remain upright, Lu stands firm, unfazed. The examiner, surprised but composed, announces an extraordinary result. Zhao's combat power registers at 10,800. He's awarded his rank 3 certification on the spot, along with a generous monthly stipend of 30,000 yuan. Zhao glances back, noticing the few who aren't overwhelmed by his attack, while the girl stares in disbelief, shaken by how effortlessly he demonstrated the strength to flatten a rank 1 martial artist. Lu then steps forward, drawing attention. His calm demeanor intrigues the examiner, who grants him the next turn. The crowd watches with curiosity as he prepares. The test begins and his key rating appears, 15.7. Shock ripples through the room. Whispers of disbelief spread. No one expected such a result from someone so young. Some speculate he's been raised on rare tonics. Even Zhao finds it hard to believe an 18-year-old could possess stats that surpass the rank 2 threshold. Before moving to the final part, the examiner gently reminds him he can attempt the combat assessment multiple times. Lu simply nods but insists once is enough. As he strikes, radiant energy bursts from his body, lighting up the room. As the strike lands, the glass behind him shatters under the pressure. Everyone stares, speechless. When the result finally settles, it reads 15,700. His fusion of the advanced breathing method, the refined star impact, and the martial memory of the zombie fist technique has pushed his power far beyond what's expected at his level. The staff congratulates him for passing the rank 1 test, but Lu's stats clearly exceed even rank 3 standards. Recognizing his exceptional ability, the examiner apologizes. His current position doesn't allow him to grant higher certifications or official recognition beyond rank 1. He rushes off to report the case to senior officials, determined to bring this rare talent to their attention. He even vows to put his own career on the line to ensure Lu gets the recognition he deserves. Just as Lu prepares to leave, a shadow looms behind him. It's Zhao, and as he swings his hand, looking like he's about to strike, it turns out he's just extending it for a polite greeting. Lu responds with the same gesture, drawing quiet satisfaction from Zhao. One by one, others in the room also greet Lu, who shortly after makes a quick exit from the assessment chamber of the Martial Artists Association. Outside, Qinghe and her friends wait for their senior, Yang, who's also taking her certification test. One of the girls, wearing a purple jacket, boasts confidently about how easy the rank 1 assessment will be for someone as gifted as Yang. Qinghe nods in agreement, but her attention shifts when she notices her older brother stepping out of the building. Lu walks up and the two siblings exchange tense glances. Qinghe is surprised to see him there, knowing full well he usually avoids school and spends his days sleeping. Lu, caught off guard by how much she knows, brushes it off, claiming he has business to handle. Her friend, the girl in purple, introduces herself as Feng, though everyone calls her Fan, and points out that Lu doesn't seem at all like the lazy brother Qinghe described. That earns a sharp glare from his sister, but Lu just pats her head and walks away. After he's gone, the group spots their senior Yang returning from the test hall. She looks visibly drained and reveals that something unusual happened. Assessments have been put on hold until later. Curious, the girls press for details. She shares that someone around their age showed stats far beyond anything expected. Key at 15.7. Combat power above rank 3 levels, and a CPI exceeding 15,000. It shook her confidence. For a moment, all her self-belief felt insignificant. When she mentions that the person responsible was Lu, her juniors are left speechless. Meanwhile, Lu, munching on his favorite snack, halts in his tracks when he notices 3 old women whispering about a group of men in black suits. Their hushed words suggest these men are scouts from the prestigious Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy, searching for someone. Lu glances at his ringing phone. It's the medical hall guy calling. He ignores it while knowing that any future medicine formulas he holds could bring him enormous wealth. But for now, he needs to investigate more before choosing whom to trust with them. At home, Lu falls asleep quickly and drifts into a familiar dream. Inside the dream, he activates a holographic interface and instructs AI to display his biography. The screen lights up with data about his life. According to the timeline, he reached level 2 martial artist status at 18, an achievement that stunned Baihe City. He later joined the Dongning Province Prodigy Training Camp, recommended by the Baihe Martial Arts Association, and ranked among the top 20. After graduating from Dongning Martial Arts University, he served in the military, retiring honorably as a captain 5 years later. He then founded the Sacred Martial Arts Academy in Baihe City. By 45, he achieved rank 6. At 50, he attempted to break into rank 7 but failed. Eventually, he died at 87 in a monster ambush. Reflecting on this future version of himself, Lu realizes just how much has changed. Only a week ago, he was a rank 4 martial artist, fated to die at 37. Now, this future paints a longer life and higher accomplishments. Yet, he knows it's not enough. In the grand scheme of things, even a rank 6 or 7 warrior can't influence the fate of the world. If he truly wants to alter humanity's path, he must aim higher, perhaps rank 10 or even 11. It's a nearly impossible dream, but Lu is determined. The future is still malleable. Meanwhile, across Baihe City, a man named Xiao works late in his office, scribbling calligraphy while discussing martial arts progress with someone on a screen. The person on the other end compliments his writing and expresses confidence that Xiao will soon break through to rank 7. Xiao, though polite, feels the sting of truth. He's been stuck at rank 6 far too long. Despite his efforts, Baihe City struggles to produce new martial talent. Without strong martial families or rich resources, young fighters often leave for better opportunities. As the call ends, Xiao is reminded that the training camp is fast approaching, and without a strong participant, Baihe City's reputation will suffer. Frustrated, he crumples the paper in his hand. He longs to rise higher, not just for glory, but for the power to actually make a difference. Just then, a young woman rushes into his office, flustered and holding a tablet and documents. She, in panic, reveals that there's been a problem at the martial arts assessment zone. Xiao is startled when his secretary bursts in without knocking. She quickly apologizes and explains that the assessment examiner has just delivered some shocking news. News about a student named Lu. Curious, Xiao grabs the tablet from her and plays the assessment footage. As he reviews the data, he's stunned to discover that Lu has mastered a fist technique to the perfection stage, an extremely rare achievement, especially for someone so young. In the entire world, fewer than 10 individuals at his age could claim the same. But then a puzzling detail catches his attention. Lu's combat power is over 15,000, even though his key status is only 15.7. That doesn't add up. Even with a perfection stage fist technique, the boost shouldn't be that extreme. Realization dawns on him that this boy may be more than just talented. He may be what cultivators call gifted. Xiao's excitement is hard to contain, and he lifts the secretary off the ground in a celebratory gesture, causing her to blush in surprise. He explains, mostly to himself, that gifted martial artists are born with exceptional potential. Upon awakening, they gain massive ki boosts and unique talents. Some gain incredible strength, others lightning speed. They are rare, and Lu fits the profile. Wasting no time, Xiao wears his signature red suit and heads straight to visit Lu's family. He sees it as his duty to thank the parents for bringing such a rare gem into the world. Meanwhile, at a separate location, Nies Jr. reports that they've identified the boy. He shares basic background info. Lu is a student at Baihe High. His father works for a delivery company, his mother is a supermarket cashier, and he has a younger sister still in her first year of high school. They live in the Sapphire Estate Block 15. Just as the report ends, Ni gets a call that Xiao has already made his move. She immediately instructs her junior to buy elegant gifts for both the parents and the younger sister, leaving no room for hesitation. Back at Lu's home while meditating, Lu hears his sister call out, surprisingly polite, something he's not used to. He follows her to the living room and is stunned to see Xiao sitting between his confused family members. The guy stands up to introduce himself while Lu greets him politely with a calm and composed demeanor. Xiao, impressed by the boy's poise, takes note. This isn't someone ordinary. Sitting nearby is a girl with a ponytail, whom Lu's mother casually introduces as Ni, a representative from the renowned Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy. Ni greets Lu politely, reminding him they'd previously met at the dojo. Lu acknowledges her, and soon after, Xiao from the Baihe Martial Arts Association steps forward to explain his visit. He's there to officially grant Lu his rank 2 martial artist badge, along with a monthly stipend equal to that of a rank 3 martial artist. But that isn't the only surprise. Recognizing Lu's extraordinary talent, the association decides to award him a $1 million bonus as encouragement. The announcement stuns everyone. Lu's parents are practically speechless, and his younger sister still struggles to grasp just how far her brother has come. Though grateful, Lu remains cautious. He understands that such generosity often comes with expectations. Curious, he asks about the catch. Xiao then presents him with a formal invitation to the Dongning Province Prodigy Training Camp. This camp, while prestigious, is notorious for breaking even the most promising martial artists. Ni is visibly shaken, recalling a once promising senior from their academy who returned from that same camp completely defeated. She believes someone with Lu's potential shouldn't take such a risk. Even Xiao admits the camp is brutal, but he believes Lu is different. His current abilities are only the beginning of what he might become. He promises to respect whatever decision Lu makes. Lu accepts the invitation, determined to chase his limits no matter the risks. Xiao is visibly relieved and assures him he'll return in 2 days to pick him up. Just before leaving, Ni hesitates. After a brief moment of nervousness, she extends a separate offer, inviting Lu to become an honorary disciple of the Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy. It's a flexible title with no real obligations. He would have access to all facilities, free training, and even personalized guidance from her father. The academy, she believes, would gain enormous prestige if someone like Lu is affiliated with them, even in name alone. Just as her thoughts begin to wander, she notices Lu turning down the offer. Ni quickly rises, insisting that they could always revisit the terms, and that his refusal feels too abrupt. Lu calmly states that he's fine being seen as a regular visitor, someone who often trains at their academy, which is true, but he doesn't want to be labeled as one of their disciples. He makes it clear that unless they can respect that boundary, he'd rather walk away. However, he also mentions he'll still drop by for assessments now and then, especially since the academy is close to home. Ni eventually agrees to his terms and promises to send over his monthly stipend as soon as she returns, roughly 100,000, to be delivered straight to Lu Shang's residence. After she leaves, Lu's parents sit in disbelief. The chairperson of the Baihei City Martial Arts Association had just visited their home, and now their son has a generous reward and a high-paying stipend. They ask when he even reached rank 2. Lu gently reassures them, holding his mother's hand, confirming everything is real and that from now on, they no longer need to work. Meanwhile, at the medicinal hall, Susu is fuming. A week has passed, yet she's found no clues about the mysterious alchemist. She's scanned every newly registered alchemical master, but none match. What bothers her most is that Lu's tonic outperforms even standard grade 3 tonics on the market, despite costing less than 3,000, compared to the usual price of several 100,000. Frustrated, she slams her desk, startling her assistant. Just then, the guy notices something on a screen. It's Lu's face. He alerts Susu, who's stunned to see the so-called genius alchemist is just a student. Elsewhere, atop the rugged terrain of Sea of Trees Mountains, a blur cuts through the sky faster than a bird in flight. It's Lu, racing across the peaks using a refined body technique powered by star impact. With dream insights and fourfold energy amplification, his speed now far exceeds most rank 2 martial artists. He names this movement style Cloud Chasing Step. Upon reaching the summit, he begins cultivating using the natural breathing technique. With each breath, he draws in energy, strengthens his stamina, and awakens his body's hidden potential. His senses stretch outward, attuned to every shift in nature. As he unleashes a focused strike, the sheer force of it sends shockwaves across the mountaintop. Lu feels a surge of joy after a major breakthrough. His key status has risen, and his star impact technique now holds at least 6 times more force than before. Originally, he'd only come to Sea of Trees Mountain to collect ingredients for a marrow-nourishing elixir, but his unexpected cultivation leap has made the trip far more rewarding. His earlier supply of muscle and QI strengthening decoctions is nearly depleted, and with his rapid progress, they're starting to lose effectiveness. It's time to move on to the next level of refinement. Among the ingredients he seeks is a rare herb, overlooked by this era but recognized by Lu thanks to his system's knowledge. Without that insight, he would have passed it by entirely. He has already arranged for the remaining herbs to be prepared at the base of the mountain and assumes they should be ready by now. Activating his cloud-chasing step, Lu swiftly descends toward the base, where he meets a vendor, the one who took his herb order. The man assures him the herbs are ready and claims they are fresh and of proper maturity for alchemical use. Lu reaches for his payment, recalling the agreement, 10 pieces at 500 each, but the vendor suddenly changes the price, demanding double the amount and insisting that Lu buy everything. Suspicious, Lu asks for clarification. The vendor, recognizing Lu as an outsider unfamiliar with their rules, hints that he should simply accept the new terms. Behind the vendor, a few men eye Lu coldly, one in an orange tank flexing his knuckles, another running his tongue disturbingly along a knife. The vendor implies that things might get ugly if Lu doesn't comply, mocking him with a warning about knowing when to back down. But Lu doesn't flinch. He releases a portion of his martial aura with unwavering confidence. The vendor ignores it and still tries to intimidate him, bragging that they're all rank 1 martial artists and reminding him that there's no surveillance in the area, meaning no help will come if things go south. As the thugs begin to close in, the trap becomes clear. But Lu steps forward and places his hand on the large boulder. With a light push, the massive rock splits, sending a visible shiver through the group of thugs nearby. Their confidence vanishes, replaced by the immense fear. Seeing that our boy opens his palm and brushes the remains away calmly, silently suggesting it's time they reconsider their stance. The thugs quickly drop to their knees, stumbling over apologies and calling him father and dad while admitting they were blind to his strength. Realizing the fight is over, Lu asks the vendor if he can have the herbs. The vendor, now deeply respectful, salutes him and says he can take everything for free. Carrying the basket, Lu leaves them with a final lesson, reminding them that honesty should be at the core of any business, regardless of who the customer is. The 5 youths raise their hands, thank him for the wisdom, and promise to change. In his mind, Lu still wishes to pay them, but knowing they won't accept it now, he lets it go. The next day, he steps off a military vehicle in Dongning Province, where the Prodigy training camp awaits. The setup resembles a military base, and as he walks through it, he recalls that his badge, left behind by accident, had been put on display by his mother. A nearby guard stops him, curious about his arrival alone. Lu explains he's from Baihei City, and that some delay caused his late arrival. Meanwhile, a girl in pink quietly points out to her companion that Baihei City's participants had already arrived the previous day, making her question Lu's appearance. The boy beside her assumes Lu must have been added at the last moment, and mocks him for not wearing a badge. He comments that Baihe City hadn't sent anyone in years, and now, strangely, they've sent two. Seeing Lu's name, the guard recalls a mention from the chairman and grows stern, cutting off further mockery. The boy in yellow laughs again, speculating that Lu's presence is purely due to the chairman's personal backing, possibly through private gifts, and not martial rank. The guard, now clearly irritated, snaps at them to quiet down and instructs Lu to join the group from Qingshuan City. At the entrance ceremony, Lu is told to leave his luggage behind. Staff will handle it. He obeys and steps inside, eyes drawn to something on the ground. As he moves further, the gate begins to close, catching the other participants off guard and stirring confusion in the hall. The group of new arrivals finds themselves locked in without explanation, confusion written all over their faces. The guard then briefly reveals that it's a test, and now their goal is to reach the corridor's far exit alone. Those who succeed would be accepted, and the rest will be sent home. With that vague warning and a half-hearted wish of good luck, the test begins. Without warning, the floor beneath them collapses, sending everyone tumbling. While most hit the ground hard, Lu lands with surprising control. A young guy, however, ends up bruising his chin and whining like a child. Lu quickly regains focus. Closing his eyes, he scans the environment with his psychic abilities, something he'd only read about in fiction, but now confirms as real. What lies ahead isn't just a simple corridor, it's something much more complex. Tension brews among the group. One of the participants complains about the test being dull, expecting something grander. Another in blue snaps at him, frustrated for not being warned. The orange-clad man responds with arrogance, claiming a true martial artist should adapt without relying on others. He even mocks the blue one's status back in their city, warning him not to disgrace it. A blonde girl steps in, trying to de-escalate things. She reminds them of how difficult it was to get here and urges unity. Another participant agrees, stressing the importance of passing the exam for their city's reputation. Yet the orange-haired man suddenly turns his attention to Lu. Something about him seems out of place. He sarcastically suggests Lu take the lead in exploring, though some see it as a trap. Lu doesn't hesitate. He steps forward, pushes the guy aside, and says if they want him to lead, they should give him space. The orange-haired guy takes it as arrogance, but quickly grows uneasy when Lu explains that predators move alone, while prey gathers in groups. As he steps forward, small pink spheres descend from the ceiling, slowly assembling into a towering mechanical puppet. Everyone freezes. The arrogant one, now nervous, realizes the danger. These puppets are powerful enough to match rank 1 martial artists, and this one doesn't look like a beginner's toy. The crowd begins to panic. Some wonder if this test is designed to eliminate them outright. Lu, unfazed, recalls from earlier readings that top-tier puppets can execute advanced martial techniques, some strong enough to rival rank 4 warriors. But building such machines costs far more than training actual fighters. Clearly this place is not meant for the weak. However, the group feels relieved when the puppet senses Lu's movement, assuming he's about to get beaten to a pulp. Meanwhile, our boy watches in awe as the puppet suddenly launches a powerful punch, but instead of dodging, he faces it head-on. Smoke bursts and wind rushes from the impact. Yet when the dust settles, Lu is still standing, unscathed. He has stopped the attack with a single hand, and that too with his fingers now crushing the puppet's metallic fist. Silence falls over the onlookers as he lifts the puppet effortlessly and slams it into the ceiling, leaving the group stunned. Doubts about his abilities quickly shift to awe, though some, like the arrogant guy, claim the puppets were low-grade fakes all along. He argues no real grade 1 puppet could have been defeated so easily, suggesting they were only for show. But his theory is short-lived. Another overconfident participant leaps forward, mimicking Lu's move, kicking the puppet's head and boasting. Before he can finish his display, the puppet suddenly retaliates, landing a solid punch to his face and sending him flying into the wall. Now hanging there like an UNC on fentanyl, he realizes too late that the puppets are far stronger than expected. Despite the chaos around him, Lu moves ahead with quiet precision. He understands the design of these machines, knows exactly where their core is, and disables each one with ease. The robots fall before him like discarded tools that are no longer threats, just debris. Meanwhile, the examiners grow increasingly puzzled. The puppets are new and built for higher-level combat, not something first-rank rookies should handle. Yet here stands Lu, tearing through them without breaking a sweat, leaving everyone wondering if he's even human. After completing the first trial, Lu steps out and mistakenly assumes that the examiner standing nearby is the gatekeeper for the next round. The examiner, still processing what just happened, silently wonders when he got reassigned to guarding trial gates. Without hesitation, Lu uses a swift move, blending his cloud-chasing steps with the powerful tenfold star impact, clearly expecting the gatekeeper to offer a real challenge. Elsewhere, in a quiet monitoring room, a young officer keeps her eyes fixed on the surveillance screen while typing away. Her focus is briefly interrupted by a cheerful man who enters with coffee in hand, humming casually. Just then he notices the lady and refers to her as Qingshu. Qingshu gives him a cold glance, clearly unimpressed. She refers to him as Chin, and he responds accordingly, dropping the casual tone as he joins her at the monitor. As they review the data, Shu expresses frustration. This year's Prodigy training camp has only 8 participants who truly meet the standard, each already awakened as martial artists. The majority show physical strength-based gifts. Only 3 display rarer traits, one with speed, another with high defense, and one with psychic potential. That last one catches attention. The girl, Xiao Lin, is just over 18 and already near rank 1 in psychic abilities, a rare feat given she awakened her powers less than 2 years ago. Her physical skills are nearly rank 2 as well. Shu quietly marks her as the top priority for this year's program. The man at her side, impressed, compares Xia to how Shu once was, but she brushes the comment aside. As they are yapping, suddenly the guy gets hit with a shock as a new monitor feed comes up. Shu's eyes widens too. Meanwhile, in the test, a powerful mechanized puppet crashes into the wall, defeated by Xia's psychic force. But before she can catch her breath, her senses spike. Something is watching from the opposite side, something with strength on par with a rank 3. Xia doesn't sense hostility, so she assumes it's a test supervisor, but as she exits the hall, she notices armed guards gathered tensely, as if waiting for someone dangerous. Curious, she uses her abilities to scan through the wall, and is stunned to find not a puppet, but 2 humans preparing to fight. One of them radiates a heavy, oppressive aura. When their eyes meet, her body freezes. This isn't just a participant, but someone truly terrifying. She quickly steps back, using her psychic ability to shut the door. The guards exchange puzzled looks, but it's clear Xia is really terrified of what she saw. However, the guards' tension eases once they spot Shu and Chen arriving. The guy quickly assesses the situation, asking about the current state and the supervisor in charge. The guards inform him that all entrance cameras have been destroyed, and they lost contact with the supervisor 3 minutes ago. No one knows what's going on inside. The guy immediately orders a list of everyone who entered passage 12, but before the guard can respond, the wall opens. Shu quietly tells him there's no need anymore. A wave of sweat breaks across the guards' faces as they instinctively ready for a fight. But instead of an enemy, it's just a student Lu, walking out. Relief washes over the group, only to vanish the moment they notice he's dragging the unconscious supervisor. Recognizing that the boy isn't from Qingxuan Academy, Shu questions his identity. Lu drops the supervisor and calmly introduces himself as someone from Baihe City. The guy scoffs, impressed by the audacity. After all, this boy took down the mechanical puppets and even the supervising instructor. Lu tries to explain, claiming he mistook the supervisor for a test opponent and didn't hold back since the man was strong. Shu releases her aura, a wave of intense purple energy meant to intimidate. But Lu remains unaffected, simply staring back. Satisfied, the lady closes her eyes and accepts him into the academy, telling a nearby staff member to guide him to the dorms. The femboy, still watching Lu closely, remarks on the absurdity. According to the records, the kid has a key score of only 15 and combat power of 15,000, yet he made rank 2 puppets look like toys. Shu quietly admits that her psychic scan showed nothing unusual, and Lu didn't even flinch. She has no plan yet for how to handle someone like him, but she's certain the recorded stats are outdated. He should be prioritized like Xia. This year's selection might be more interesting than expected. Meanwhile, Lu reflects on Shu's power, realizing it's far stronger than his. He had pulled back all his energy earlier and wonders if she noticed anything. Soon after, a staff member tells him it's time to eat. Grateful and hungry, Lu politely asks if he can eat as much as he wants. Given a yes, he dives into the meal like he hasn't eaten in days, ordering massive servings and devouring everything while someone nearby watches in disbelief. To Lu, the food is excellent and he's far from done. A girl walks over to Lu, trying to confirm his identity. It turns out she's Yang Yuan, the senior of his sister and another participant from Baihe City. She introduces herself and mentions that they briefly met during the martial artist evaluation. Without waiting for a reply, she asks to sit. But Lu, focused entirely on his food, comments that food is unlimited and anyone can get their own. Yang, slightly annoyed by the cold response, tells herself she didn't come to steal his food anyway. Still, she hides her irritation behind a smile and brings up a puzzling detail. Despite what Lu heard from the chairman, Baihe City has been sending representatives every year. The problem, she explains, is that none of them have ever made it through the entrance assessment. Even the few who did were soon eliminated for failing to earn enough points, rendering all their efforts useless and their experiences unworthy of mention. Curious, Lu asks what she means by points. Yang explains that points are essentially the internal currency of the training camp. Everything from training equipment and consultation with instructors to supplements and even housing requires points. Even the special monster meat he's enjoying is reserved for those who can afford it through points. She then mentions that, as of now, only 3 participants in the entire camp have earned any points. Lu, still chewing, raises a brow at this. She lists them off. First, Chao Yang, a rank 2 martial artist from Yanglin City with the stone skin ability. Then there's Meng Jin from Donggang City, known for his speed-based skills. Before mentioning the third, she glances away. The last one, she says, isn't a martial artist in the traditional sense, but a rare type called a mentalist. Her name is Zia, and she's believed to be the most powerful psychic in this year's batch. At that moment, Zia, seated nearby, senses something and turns toward them. The moment she sees Lu, her whole body gets into a shock. She quickly uses her psychic energy to steady her food and slips away, trying to avoid being noticed. But Lu casually observes her reaction, wondering if that's just how her ability works. Yang, catching the gaze, asks if he knows Zia. Lu replies that they met briefly after his entrance test, and questions whether only 3 truly passed. That's when Yang remembers the rumors about a 4th contender. She points out that this individual reportedly wiped out all the rank 2 mechanical puppets alone, something that made quite an impression across the camp. She continues, casually mentioning that the 4th candidate in the rumors was supposedly a lunatic, someone who didn't just defeat the puppets but also thrashed the supervising instructor so badly he had to be hospitalized. Lu nearly chokes on his water when he realizes who she's referring to, while Yang laughs it off, saying she never believed such a man existed. Meanwhile, our boy is thinking about the camp instructors and staff being incredibly strong, far beyond even the powerful figures like the so-called monster who once shook Baihe City. Trying to be supportive, she offers Lu a handkerchief, encouraging him with a kind smile and saying he might become just as strong if he puts effort into his training. As he uses it, one of the staff members suddenly calls out his name, startling her. The staff informs him, loud enough for nearby participants to hear, that Lu has caused serious damage during the entrance test. 18 mechanical puppets destroyed, and the supervising officer still unconscious in the hospital. They've come to bring him in for further questioning. The entire cafeteria, including Yang, falls silent. Meanwhile, Lu, calm as ever, gets up and agrees to go, but not before politely asking if he can take some food with him. He's still hungry. The guard, holding back a scowl, grants permission. Lu says his thanks and bids farewell, leaving behind a room full of stunned silence and wide eyes. Even Yang, who had just been reassuring him, is left speechless. Inside the command center, Lu arrives to face Qingshu. As he approaches, she calmly explains the extent of the damage. Half a year's budget gone in minutes. Each mechanical puppet costs tens of millions, and none of them can be salvaged. Despite this, the officials agree that Lu can't be blamed. He was merely responding to the assessment scenario as designed. Just then, the femboy enters with 3 others, announcing that all successful examinees are now gathered. Eyes scan the room and Jia visibly trembles. Qingshu praises the group for passing and introduces the training camp's internal ranking system. Points determine access to resources, and reaching certain thresholds will be rewarded with specialized cards. She presents golden cards to the top performers. Chao recognizes it as the very same elite reward his mentor once told him about, and is pleased to see 100 points on his card. Jin also feels satisfied with his lead. She calculates that her 100 points will be enough to request advanced psychic instruction, but her excitement fades when she notices Lu's card. It's not gold, but white. The other participants exchange confused looks. Even Lu, unfamiliar with the system, is unsure what it means. Lu flips his card over and scans the list of resources. Everything in the training camp, from meals to instructor sessions, has a price in points. Monster meat costs 5 points per serving. Training room access is 10 points an hour. Regular instructor sessions cost 30, and elite guidance from top instructors requires a full 100. But for Lu, the meat is really all he's interested in. The femboy nearly collapses in disbelief. With his finger jabbed in Lu's direction, he reveals that the card actually holds 1,000 points. He adds that if it weren't for the chief instructor stepping in and calming the higher-ups, Lu would be buried under the debt for the destruction he caused. The other candidates freeze in shock, trying to process what they just heard. Cao frowns. He's always believed this camp runs on talent, not favoritism, and now he's doubting that. Jin keeps quiet but wonders what kind of backing our boy has. Xia, however, trembles and finally asks them if they truly understood what Lu did during the assessment. But Cao, agitated, doesn't hold back, accusing Lu of manipulating staff and spreading lies, even claiming it's impossible for someone like him to take down rank 3 instructors. He rants that only a rank 4 could do that. And our boy doesn't even look like someone who's developed his vitality properly. With rising tension, Cao demands proof and challenges the boy to demonstrate his strength. The femboy tries to de-escalate, but Qingshu calmly signals to let it play out. Lu lets out a breath and confirms if Cao really wants this. The big dude, already brimming with arrogance, accepts the fight. Before he can finish boasting about his invincible stone skin ability, Lu raises a finger and gently flicks his forehead using a technique powered by star impact. The next instant, Cao is sent flying across the room, smashing into a wall hard enough to leave a dent. Lu casually glances at the destruction and wonders if he'll be charged for the damage. After all, Cao asked for it. Everyone is speechless. Qingshu and Xia stare in stunned silence at Chao's crumpled form. Meanwhile, the femboy hums quietly in awe. Lu, unfazed, simply asks if he's free to leave. Qingshu stops him and asks about his training plans. She suggests that with the number of points he has, he could receive personal guidance from her. Lu politely declines, saying he has other priorities. Everyone, including the other candidates and even the senior officers, looks surprised. What could possibly be more important than one-on-one training with the chief instructor? Lu turns halfway, glances back and says he's going to sleep. The room falls quiet for a beat before the femboy bursts into laughter, completely unbothered by the absurdity. As the guards haul in the stretcher with Cao's unconscious body, Qingshu and the femboy watch Lu quietly walk into his dorm. It hit him then. Lu truly meant what he said. He wasn't joking about going to sleep. Qingshu, still puzzled, reflects on the oddity of his choice. There are no training facilities in the dorms, no resources to gain, yet Lu heads there as if it's exactly what he needs. To the boy, this unpredictability makes him even more fascinating. It's rare to encounter someone with that level of confidence and detachment. But Qingshu looks at it differently. She tells him that he doesn't fully understand the kind of individual Lu might be. She compares him to a high-grade whetstone, one that sharpens others just by existing among them. The guy wonders aloud if she's implying Lu is sharper than the rest. But Qingshu brings up a name from their past, Ding Peng. The mention of Ding Peng stirs something heavy in the guy's chest. He remembers how that man once dominated the training camp, rising above everyone with raw strength and leaving them all behind. Qingshu agrees that physical-type talents do offer a huge head start. They often reach extraordinary combat power early and can overpower stronger opponents. But she also points out that pure strength isn't everything. Combat requires awareness, skill, tactics, and adaptability. Without growth in those areas, strength alone becomes a dead end. She fears that might become Lu's fate, too. Meanwhile, inside Lu's dream, a battle plays out. He's locked in combat with a zombie that proves far more difficult to defeat than usual. When the creature lands a devastating strike, Lu deflects it, counters with a piercing blow to the leg, then channels a powerful energy strike into its body. As he absorbs its energy, he realizes something unsettling. The zombie had once been a rank 6 martial artist, the same level as Chairman Shao of the Martial Artist Association. That explains the struggle. It occurs to him that if he hadn't used all his psychic energy to guard against the attack, he might have lost. He sees now that real strength doesn't just come from raw power, it comes from accumulated experience, battle sense, and mastery of techniques. While he can draw from the memories of many before him, covering all angles with no blind spots, he also knows his psychic power is still basic, barely enough to defend against anything beyond dream zombies. Sitting quietly in his dreamscape, Lu reflects on how far he still has to go. Right now, he isn't strong enough to stand against a true rank 6 martial artist, but he believes his martial path won't be limited to strength alone. He's building something more complete, step by step. Lu enters a deep, meditative state, isolating himself from all distractions to train his psychic energy. He dives inward, focusing entirely on refining his mind. A radiant light forms around him, and he's drawn into the core of his consciousness. There, his physical body and psychic self converge, triggering a powerful surge that causes nearby glass to tremble under the pressure of his aura. The pain is intense, but within moments, the effort pays off. He successfully advances to the next level. Without delay, he taps his watch to summon AI, instructing her to fetch his updated biography. As the data appears, Lu feels a rush of satisfaction upon learning that he's now a rank 7 martial master. In the ancient world, such strength would rival that of a feudal lord. And even in his current era, it's a title of high status. With this advancement, he begins to wonder whether his permissions and access levels within the system have increased as well. Curious, he has AI search for higher-level techniques, particularly those tied to psychic energy, star body refining art, natural breathing, and crystal visualization. As screens light up with results, one technique catches his eye: divine illumination of the King of Hell. He reaches out to access it and is stunned. Unlike standard combat techniques, this one is tailored specifically for psychic users. It details not just battle strategies, but an entirely new approach to psychic cultivation. The core idea of this technique is revolutionary. It allows the user to use psychic energy to form a second self. A clone so precise it replicates even muscles, cells, and genes. The purpose is absolute. Eliminate all weaknesses by reinforcing the body from every angle. The first stage focuses on strengthening internal organs, directly enhancing vitality. And vitality is exactly what Lu currently lacks. While his combat power continues to rise, his stagnant vitality has kept him from reaching greater heights. Overcoming this would unlock the next phase of his growth. He silently admits that the depth of martial knowledge accumulated over 10,000 years had been vastly underestimated. In his own time, such an art wouldn't have even been imaginable. Upon seeing the name of the technique's creator, Duan Yifeng, he immediately recognizes the talent, someone far beyond ordinary rank 11 powerhouses. Yet even with such brilliant individuals, humanity still couldn't escape its collapse. Lu, however, refuses to dwell on that loss. For him, every moment counts. He trains relentlessly, fueled by the belief that strength is the only way forward. 1 month into her training, Xia stands in the psychic chamber, eyes closed, sensing her surroundings with growing control. As multiple yellow projectiles dart toward her, a shimmering purple aura bursts from her, the star-shaped cone she commands tearing through every target in sight. Once the task is complete, she draws the cones back to her side. The door creaks open and Qingshu enters with her arms folded, clearly impressed. Xi's ability to manage 3-star cones effortlessly is a sign of rapid progress, though Qingshu reminds herself that true mastery begins when 6 can be controlled without strain. That's the threshold of a rank 1 mentalist. Xia bows her head in quiet gratitude, aware that Qingshu's personal instruction has been invaluable. She brushes it off, crediting Xia's natural talent. But her sharp eyes catch something troubling, an instability in her mental fortitude, saying that she asks if she had some kind of mental trauma in the past. Xia, shocked, admits to having unresolved mental trauma and wonders if she can help her. However, Qingshu's response is that true healing only comes when the source of the trauma is confronted and either defeated or destroyed. This suggestion leaves Xia visibly shaken. Sensing her doubt, Qingshu attempts to reassure her, pointing out that her current growth could soon bridge the gap between them. That seed of hope lingers in her mind, especially considering Lu does nothing but sleep in his dorm all day. Outside the hallway, the femboy leans against the wall, asking about Xia's progress. Qingshu admits that the girl is gifted, but perhaps too soft. The guy reminds her that not everyone shares her temperament, and even jokes that she might have a better personality than the student he trains. Both instructors know they've given their best, and only 2 months remain before the camp's final assessment. When asked about Lu, the guy confirms he continues his routine of doing absolutely nothing, just sleeping through the days. The staff often find him in the same position each time they deliver his meals. He chuckles, recalling Qingshu's past words to the students about how no one would stop them if they chose to waste their time. Remembering that, Qingshu is already regretting that statement. The guy wonders aloud if Lu is still meant to be used as a whetstone to sharpen others, but she's already dismissed that idea. In her eyes, Lu isn't even worthy of being a stepping stone anymore. She turns and walks away, instructing the femboy to make sure Jin trains properly. Otherwise, Xia might seriously injure him during the upcoming closed camp assessment. The guy reacts with an unimpressed expression, claiming neither he nor his student fears her. Meanwhile, in the gym, Yang is catching her breath as she is cleaning the floor. Just then, a cheerful girl returns to assist her, and she quietly appreciates it. The girl casually mentions that Yang once helped her too, brushing off any need for thanks. She then sighs, envying those who scored a perfect 100, enough points to cover 2 months' expenses. Yang replies with quiet resignation, pointing out how people like them have to ration their food and stretch every credit, so there's no real comparison. Curious, the girl brings up Lu, saying Yang is often seen close to him. With a slight concern, Yang simply says she doesn't know what he's been up to. The girl recalls how Lu once stunned everyone with his overwhelming presence, only to vanish from the spotlight the very next day. Apparently, he's been locked in his dorm since, and she speculates he might be trying to maintain an air of mystery, now that others are catching up. Maybe he's even scared, but Yang doesn't agree. She knows Lu isn't someone who runs away from pressure. Quietly determined, she leaves the girl behind, saying she'll finish things herself. Confused by her sudden resolve, the girl gets distracted by the noise outside. The crowd is buzzing because Kao is about to attempt quadruple gravitational training. The news makes Yang freeze, remembering how even double gravity once nearly knocked her out in under 20 minutes. Quadruple seems inhuman. The girl grabs her hand, urging her to come watch. As they move, her thoughts drift. What could Lu be doing at this very moment? Unseen by them, Kao is locked in a solitary battle inside a gravity chamber. Enduring triple force training, he pushes himself past his old limits, staying in for over 4 minutes, breaking his personal record by more than half a minute. He finally slams the emergency stop with a trembling hand. Outside, onlookers cheer him for achieving that same feat. He enjoys their admiration, but privately thinks they're overhyping it. He wonders how they'd react if he ever stepped into quadruple gravity. Nearby, another trainee quietly notes that Kao may soon become unmatched in camp once he hits rank 3. But when asked about Lu, he shrugs, saying Lu is still the same, always found sleeping in his room when meals are delivered. He even jokes that Lu might be lost in some wet dream. Xiao recalls how he once stood no chance against Lu, but believes time has changed things. He thinks to himself that even a slow turtle will catch up to a sleeping rabbit, and Lu, in his eyes, has been asleep for over a month. With a hint of confidence, he smiles, assuming the gap between them has now closed. But before he can fully revel in the thought, Lu suddenly appears and walks straight toward the gravitational training room, leaving Kao stunned. Inside, Lu seems more intrigued by the training system than by Kao's presence. He quietly sets the timer for 3 hours on level 2 and begins the session. As the door closes, he glances back and asks aloud if it really has been over a month, adding that this might be a good chance to see how far he's come. Chow, feeling irritated, mocks him internally, thinking he's just been sleeping the whole time and can't possibly expect to have made progress. As the countdown begins, Cal comments to the others that jumping straight into gravitational training without warm-ups could cause serious harm, maybe even internal injury. Watching from outside, he can't decide whether Lu is ignorant or just arrogant. Still, he's convinced he won't last long, but as the pressure activates, something unexpected happens. Lu doesn't flinch. While everyone waits for a sign of struggle, he calmly moves, his body adapting with surprising ease. The onlookers grow confused. Some even rush forward, trying to get a better look. Lu then pauses and gazes at his hand, quietly impressed by how naturally his body is responding. Outside, Cao wonders if Lu is finally hitting his limit, but instead of stopping, Lu increases the gravity to 4 times the normal level. A loud beep echoes through the room, startling the onlookers. Their expressions turn from curiosity to disbelief, while Lu also braces himself and calmly places a hand on the ground, as if preparing for something even more intense. Seeing him go down, Cao and his companion are briefly excited, until shock hits them when they realize he's still holding on. Nearby, Xia strolls down the hallway after a long training session. She notices a large group gathered around the room and walks over, curious about the commotion. As she approaches, she's just as shocked as the others to see our boy holding a 2-finger handstand. The sight leaves everyone frozen, including Cao, who sits in stunned silence, his pride cracking as he clenches his jaw and fights back tears. He had believed that after sleeping for over a month, Lu would have fallen behind. Instead, he finds himself trailing once more, just like the tortoise that could never surpass the sleeping rabbit. But Lu isn't done. Still unsatisfied, he flips backward and increases the gravity. The moment he presses the red button, the panic spreads outside as Lu has raised the level to 5 times gravity. Inside, he remains steady, breathing naturally through the natural breathing technique, as if the pressure barely touches him. Word spreads quickly across the training camp that the monster student has awakened. As everyone rushes to the camber, Cal watches, sweating, as Lu moves with ease through the crushing force. For Lu, this level is now comfortable. As he flexes his fingers and steadies his breath, he realizes it's finally enough to attempt the star body refining technique movements. Yet even this isn't pushing him to his limit. He turns back to the control panel with his eyes narrowing. Outside, whispers turn into gasps as observers wonder if he's about to shut the system down in defeat. But instead, Lu slams the green button and the chamber jumps to 8 times gravity. Elsewhere in the control center, Qing shakes her head, disappointed. 2 more students have dropped out, unable to endure the harsh conditions. Beside her, the femboy remains calm. Handing her a glass of juice, he remarks that those who give up now were never ready to face the true horrors of battle. He's still confident that most will endure, however. When he glances at the monitor, he freezes. Inside the G-Force chamber, someone has shattered the previous record. Qingshu assumes it must be Cao, who was close to breaking into the 4th level, but the guy corrects her. It's not Cao, it's Lu. The glass slips from her hand, shattering as her eyes lock on the monitor. Lu, who everyone had dismissed, is now training under 8 times gravity. The guy, puzzled, asks about Lu's current rank, but Qingshu doesn't know. What she does know is this: they've finally found the one they've been waiting for. Inside the chamber, Lu stands soaked in sweat. 8 times gravity pushed his body to the edge. He's nearing collapse, but he doesn't stop. With a deep breath, he closes his eyes, preparing to activate a technique he's never used before. A surge of deep purple energy begins forming around Lu's heart, seeping through his veins like wildfire. His entire body starts to emit a faint purple glow, evidence of the mysterious power known as the divine illumination of the King of Hell. Though he's only reconstructed his heart, he can already feel his vitality rise, nearly a 10% boost. A faint smile plays on his lips as he clenches his fist. Quietly amazed at this sudden transformation, he knows it's time to push further, to find the true edge of his abilities. Outside the training chamber, onlookers watch in disbelief as Lu approaches the gravity chamber again. Many speculate whether he'll be able to surpass the 8 times gravity limit. As the intensity builds, even those standing outside feel the overwhelming force leaking from the sealed room. Cracks form along the glass, and some fall to their knees, suffocated by the invisible pressure. Inside, under the brutal force of 10 times gravity, Lu's body nearly collapses against the wall. Each breath is a struggle. His bones feel like they're fracturing, and his blood threatens to stop flowing. It's a level of torment that should render anyone unconscious, but that's exactly why he's here. In his mind, he recalls an old question: what kind of person can rewrite a doomed future? Is it someone with unmatched martial skills, someone born with extraordinary gifts, or someone backed by endless resources? Back then, he answered none of the above. It's the one who breaks past their own limits. Slowly, he forces himself to stand. Bolts of electricity are flickering through the room as he rises. The others still kneeling under the pressure are stunned. Among them, Yang, who had been doubtful at first, now recognizes that the one inside was truly Lu, and that he had succeeded. When he finally emerges from the chamber, All eyes turn to him. A girl steps forward shyly, offering him a towel, which he accepts with a calm nod. She exchanges a delighted high five with her friend, visibly thrilled by the brief moment. Lu, slightly annoyed that he had wasted training points for what turned out to be a quick breakthrough, regrets not saving them. But just as the thought crosses his mind, a system reward window appears revealing that a massive total, 4,300 points, has been granted to him for shattering the previous record. As the crowd sees it, their mouths hang open in disbelief. Even combined, their points can't match his reward. With that, Lu calmly makes his way toward his next challenge. Many follow, curious to see what he'll do next. Amid the crowd, Yang senses his presence again. It's bold, untamed. He strides ahead like a powerful beast, and behind him trails a crowd, as if pulled by sheer force of will. A girl in yellow wonders aloud if Lu has strength-based talent. Surprised he actually outdid Chao, a defense-type user. She guesses it might be because his vitality has reached rank 4, but when Yang sees him heading toward the footwork and movement studio, she is in utter shock. Inside the room, Jin is already finishing up his laser dodging session. He manages to complete the level with an 87% score, which places him above 52% of the global trainees in terms of agility. Proud of his achievement, he places his hands on his waist and daydreams about how far he's come. With a rare speed-type talent and one-on-one training from Instructor Chin, he believes the gap between himself and others is now unbridgeable. He imagines that others watching him would feel inspired, having witnessed the intensity of his training. But that moment of pride doesn't last long as he notices that the crowd is focused on something else, even drawing in the two main instructors. Curious, Jin pulls aside a student to ask what's happening. He can't believe it when he hears it's Lu. Yes, that sleepy nobody from Baihe City, who's now inside the training chamber. Just as he scoffs at the idea, all the laser launchers power up to maximum. Lu steps into the danger zone with zero hesitation. Though the system doesn't give him any warning about the laser patterns, Lu effortlessly weaves through the beams. No sweat, no panic, just calm, calculated movement like he's been doing this forever. Seeing that Jin is left trembling as it looks like instinctive dodging, the lasers fire unpredictably from every direction, yet Lu glides through them like it's second nature. Unable to believe his eyes, Jin grabs the same student again, demanding to know if this really is Lu's first attempt. The answer stings. Yes, and not only that, Lu already shattered the G-Force training record before even stepping into this room. 10 times gravity. That's when Jin's legs give out. His pride collapses. For a moment, he wonders if it's better to sleep his life away like Lu and still somehow rise to the top. Meanwhile, Qingshu watches in disbelief. In her experience, even repeated attempts don't come this easy. Lu's movements almost look like he can see what's coming. Watching it unfold, she starts to wonder, could he be the one? Tempted to test him again, she's stopped by the femboy who warns her off. Still, the question lingers in her mind that could he really have psychic powers that slipped past her the first time? Inside the chamber, Lu calmly finishes level 2 of the footwork training at 62%, quietly impressed at how much sharper and faster his movements have already become. As the training intensifies, the crowd outside can't help but watch in disbelief. Compared to the others, Lu handled level 2 with an ease that borders on unnatural. His calm expression and precise movements leave even seasoned observers unsettled. Meanwhile, the femboy, studying him carefully, notes that Lu's relaxed posture and exceptional body control are signs of something more advanced. Nearby, Qingshu, folding her arms, clearly wants to see how far he can really go. The guy shares the same thought, quietly entertained by the idea. Without warning, the system initiates level 3 training, focused on footwork and movement. Suddenly, clusters of yellow spheres are launched toward Lu as blinding lights reflect across the faces of those watching. Thousands of red laser beams erupt from behind while the yellow projectiles approach from the front. This isn't just a step up. It's an overwhelming leap in difficulty. Lu immediately senses the change. The beams are positioned strategically to corner him, leaving almost no room to maneuver. For the first time, he knows this won't be easy. With a sharp breath, he leaps high, narrowly avoiding a synchronized strike that ends in a violent explosion. The challenge isn't over, and he keeps moving, determined to push forward. Watching him from outside, the femboy begins to suspect that Lu might have already broken through to the inner discernment stage. He remembers how few rank 4 or 5 veterans ever refined their movement to that level. Even he didn't reach it until the age of 22. Qingshu quietly admits she only achieved it at 25. The guy brushes off her comparison, reminding her that his martial path focused on speed. Still, the fact that Lu is only 18 and already displaying this kind of control makes it hard to ignore. Inside, Lu is only 15% into the challenge, and his expression is now far from relaxed. Psychic foresight alone isn't cutting it anymore. Sensing the pressure, he shifts his technique, activating a form known as Breath of the Wind. A soft green aura swirls around him, and under the flashing lasers, that glow is the only sign of his presence. In moments, he reaches 62% completion. Those watching outside lose sight of him entirely, the system later announcing he's at 81%. The femboy explains that Lu is simply moving too fast for the naked eye. Eventually, the level 3 training concludes successfully. The instructor, assuming the day is done, turns to leave, believing Lu must be exhausted after such a feat. But Qingshu stops him as she's still watching. The system doesn't pause. It jumps straight into level 4. The guy is stunned that even he had only just begun level 4 recently. Yet here Lu is, standing calmly again, eyes locked on the screen in front of him. As his foot taps a black platform, the next challenge begins to unfold. A cluster of black objects forms swiftly and begins firing lasers, attempting to trap Lu. Though his reaction speed is impressive, the sheer number of beams makes dodging all of them impossible. Recognizing this, he comes to a halt, frustration showing on his face. The spectators, including Jin, are frozen in shock, realizing the danger he's in. Just then, the system broadcasts that his level 4 footwork has reached 30% completion. The femboy, watching from afar, gets curious about how Lu will manage the onslaught. Meanwhile, standing still amidst a storm of lasers, our boy focuses and activates a deeper power, his divine illumination of the king's hell pushing his limits. Boosted by the breath of the wind, a green glow surrounds him as a grayscale circle forms. Time seems to slow down. A phenomenon he remembers is called temporal sense. With heightened perception, the attacks are evaded by Lu in a blur of movement. From outside, the energy shift is recognized by Qingshu. She realizes that this kind of psychic transformation occurs only in those who have reached rank 3. Cracks are spread across the glass, walls, and floor. As understanding narrows her eyes, Lu is perceived not as an ordinary student. Knowing Lu is on another level, Qingshu summons her spirit form and sends it into the chamber. Everyone's shocked to see this, while our boy is busy dodging lasers. In the middle of it, he suddenly senses her spirit, instantly dodges, and counters it with a single blow. Qingshu staggers slightly from the backlash, fully convinced now that Lu's psychic force matches her own. As she watches the fading spirit, her suspicions are confirmed that his abilities are both awakened and advanced. Though the temporal sense boosts his performance, the energy toll is immense. Meanwhile, Lu feels the fatigue setting in and realizes his vitality is nearing its limit. He's only halfway through level 4 training, yet he's already exhausted 2 of his strongest techniques. With no strength left to dodge, he lets the final beam strike him. The system chimes once again, revealing that the training is 56% complete, and Lu's movement proficiency now surpasses 97% of martial artists worldwide. Onlookers stare in disbelief. For someone still in training, Lu's mastery of footwork and spatial control puts him ahead of billions. Meanwhile, Jin also turns to stone, crumbling away in disbelief. He had just realized that Sleepy had surpassed him by a staggering 45%. The blow stings even more knowing Lu, someone he once underestimated, is a strength-type martial artist. Meanwhile, Lu stands in front of a performance screen. Despite his recent success, he feels far from accomplished, aware that 3% of the global population still outclasses him in footwork and agility. Later, Qingshu arrives, praising him for shattering records in both the G-Force training chamber and the footwork studio. When asked if he plans to continue training in the combat or psychic department, Lu considers it, but seeing it's mealtime, he casually decides to head for the cafeteria instead. The femboy laughs out loud at his choice, and Qingshu can't help but wonder if eating and sleeping are his only real priorities. 3 hours pass. In the command and control center, Lu shows up after being summoned. Qingshu greets him with the femme nearby and explains they just need to run a simple evaluation. Holding a blue vitality needle, she mentions this is a standard tool in all dorm rooms. Lu admits he hasn't used it yet, because it couldn't pierce his skin. That response confirms femboy's suspicion. Lu has already advanced to rank 3. After all, without that level of physical endurance, breaking the G-Force records would have been impossible. To verify, Qingshu pulls out a golden blood testing needle, one typically reserved for rank 5 martial artists. She pricks our boy's finger and analyzes the sample. The result is an astonishing 24.65 vitality rating. The femme, clearly impressed, remarks he hasn't seen someone this young reach rank 3 in nearly a decade. Next comes the combat power assessment. Lu steps forward, channels his breath of fire, and launches an 8-fold star impact at the target. The machine displays his combat index, 271,000. The instructor stares in disbelief as that's nearly the level of a rank 5 warrior. Having witnessed enough, the femboy places a hand on Lu's shoulder and declares that he's officially graduated from the training camp. All that remains is for Lu to report his new status to the Martial Association once he returns home. As Lu prepares to leave, Qingshu stops him as there's one final test. She reveals a rare energy crystal discovered over a century ago in the Lion Country's Anstra Canyon. Highly reactive to psychic energy, it's now used to measure the mental strength of advanced psychics. To evaluate someone's psychic strength, they must place their hand on the special crystal and channel their energy into it. During her demonstration, her results show a notable improvement. The femboy observes the rising numbers, impressed by her progress. He clearly remembers her purity index being around 3 last time, and now it has reached 4. Shu, somewhat smug, reminds him that unlike him, she doesn't spend her days lazing around. The guy grumbles that she can criticize him all she wants, but not his lifestyle. When it's Lu's turn, he calmly rests his hand on the crystal. The instructor, half joking, whispers to Shu that he might believe Lu has half her strength, but nearly matching her. That he doubts. Shu, visibly annoyed, hushes him. Suddenly the crystal emits a blinding yellow glow. Shu freezes in disbelief as the numbers are undeniable. Lu's psychic strength reaches 113, and his purity index skyrockets to an astonishing 20.3, more than 5 times higher than hers. With her mouth nearly hanging open, Shu recalls how hard it is to improve even a single point in purity, comparable to folding and compressing a towel over and over until it shrinks to a coin-sized disc. Yet somehow Lu's purity level has soared to unimaginable heights. She can't help but compare her own efforts. Despite 2 years of intense work, she's only managed to gain 1 point. Lu, barely 18, has already shattered expectations. Genius doesn't quite capture it. As she searches for a better word, the femboy begins rambling, loudly praising Lu and even likening him to a god, until Shu cuts him off with a sharp smack that leaves a puff of smoke rising from his head. Trying to collect herself, Shu then asks the boy whether he's had formal guidance. He confirms that he's been trained by a mentor who taught him unique methods for cultivating psychic energy. That answer eases Shu's mind. If Lu had reached this level without any guidance, she might have found it too difficult to accept. Now convinced of his exceptional talent, she probes a bit further, asking when exactly his awakening happened. Lu thinks back and recalls, it's been less than 3 months. The moment sinks in. Both instructors fall silent, stunned by what they've just heard. After collecting herself, Shu informs Lu that even if the association waited another decade, they likely wouldn't find another anomaly like him. Despite awakening less than 3 months ago, Lu has already reached the 3rd rank in psychic ability, something nearly unheard of in their field. Shu explains that there's a separate institution dedicated to psychic users, entirely distinct from the martial association. While martial artists are more common, psychics are extremely rare. Less than 1% of the population possesses such abilities. The Psychic Association functions on a different structure, with fewer members but access to highly specialized resources. As she retrieves something from beneath her inner uniform, she reflects aloud that Lu's mentor may have deliberately withheld information to keep his focus sharp. Overloading a beginner with knowledge she believes can dilute the purity of their development. She pulls out a pendant, her personal token, and makes it clear that if Lu ever chooses to join the Psychic Association, presenting it would guarantee him support and cultivation resources. She genuinely hopes he accepts. When Lu sees the glowing token, he quietly admits to himself that he's never actually seen his teacher in person. His guidance always came in strange, inexplicable ways. Shu concludes that such a mysterious mentor must be someone truly remarkable, someone wise enough to guide a genius from the shadows, rather than possessively cling to him. What Shu doesn't know is that Lu's teacher isn't just mysterious. He's from 10,000 years in the future, and a rank 11 martial powerhouse named Duan Yifeng. Just then, the femboy breaks Lu's thoughts. He presents a reward card worth 5 million, stating that even though the training program hasn't ended, Lu's performance has already secured him the top rank. The bonus is simply a recognition of the overwhelming gap between him and everyone else. Lu stares blankly like a zombie at the reward card in his hand. Su, noticing his expression, reassures him this is the highest amount their department could offer. The Eastern Military District has always operated on a tight budget, she adds, with most of the funds going toward feeding the trainees. The instructor chuckles, patting Lu's shoulder, and reminds him he's known for his huge appetite, and his food bill since arrival likely tops 7 or 8 million. Realizing just how expensive his appetite has been, Lu quietly vows to avoid indulging like that again. Su gestures gracefully with her hand, explaining that while the reward isn't massive, it reflects the district's sincerity, and there's more they need to discuss. Lu glances at the card again, now suspecting there's a recruitment pitch buried in all this. Su confirms it with a knowing smile. A rare talent like him, she believes, is destined for the front lines. After all, true martial sages aren't forged in comfort, they're shaped in conflict. The femboy follows up, reminding him that the country and the Martial Association don't offer privileges and resources without expectations. When the time comes to choose a military division, they hope the Eastern District tops his list. With a grin creeping across his face, the guy leans in, throwing in one final incentive that their district is known not just for discipline, but for its stunning female soldiers. Just as he's trying to lure our boy into gooning, Shu cuts in, smacking him with a chair. While the guy lies groaning on the floor, Shu refocuses the moment. She informs Lu that they've chosen him to represent the Dongning Prodigy Camp in the upcoming Morningstar selection. At first, Lu is caught off guard by the name, but Ching Shu explains it's an annual event where all the eastern provinces send their brightest to compete. Only one will be crowned a future martial master, a morning star. The femboy, still half-conscious, adds that this title marks the beginning of one's path toward becoming a true master. Lu reflects silently. If he is to live in this world, then some things can't be avoided. To rewrite the fate of humanity, he must grow stronger. There's no turning back now. The instructor rests a reassuring hand on Lu Shang's shoulder, letting him know that both he and Ching Shu fully trust Lu's capabilities. In their eyes, no one else in this year's Dongning training camp seems more fitting to represent them. The Eastern Military District has even decided to provide rewards for those selected in the trials. Lu silently acknowledges this and reflects that if he hopes to gain more resources, he'll have to reveal even more of his strength. Ching Shu casually notes that a few months remain before the official Morningstar selection begins. Once all provincial camps have concluded, she promises to remind Lu of the dates so his preparation doesn't clash with the National College entrance exam. But in Femboy's mind, Lu's abilities surpass the need for such tests. Colleges from the Eastern District would be eager to recruit him regardless. Hearing all this, Lu wonders aloud if he even needs to remain in the training camp any longer. The guy had already said it's up to him. As he moves toward the exit, Lu mentions he'll stick around for a bit and leaves unless anything else is required. The instructor watches him go, half joking that Lu is probably staying just for the cafeteria meals. Ching Shu, meanwhile, quietly admits that she never imagined a day would come when she'd envy someone's talent. The guy agrees, noting that Lu is different, someone meant to shape the future in ways few can imagine. Later, at the Baihe City Martial Association, Lu makes his way to a familiar floor, Chairman Xiao's office. It's been some time since his last visit. As he approaches, voices raised in an argument echo from inside. Just then, the chairman's secretary calls out and opens the door with her nervousness barely concealed. She notices the boy and escorts him in the office. Inside, the chairman sits looking troubled. An older man in a blue suit rises, giving Lu a mocking once-over, pretending to be impressed by the so-called genius the chairman had spoken about. He casually brags about his own granddaughter, Zia, showing off her photo on his phone while his other hand subtly scans Lu's physique, looking for something noteworthy. In his opinion, Lu is no different from countless others who fall short of Zia's level. The chairman, already on edge, snaps at Lu for returning before the training camp ends. In response, Lu calmly presents a sealed envelope. He explains that Chief Instructor Ching Shu had instructed him to deliver it personally, requesting Chairman Xiao's review and approval. Hearing Ching Shu's name, the old man immediately reaches for the envelope, puzzled as to why a minor city's martial association is being asked to approve something of such importance. The old man eyes Lu with suspicion, wondering if the boy has caused trouble at the training camp and whether the chief instructor has pushed the responsibility onto Chairman Xiao. Before the man can voice his doubts, the chairman abruptly rises and snatches the envelope from his hands. Clearly irritated, tearing it open, he scans the contents, and as he reads, his expression shifts from disbelief to surprise. Once finished, he quietly slides the document back into its cover with his face unreadable. The old man, trying to provoke a reaction, makes a mocking remark, suggesting he shouldn't take it too personally. But the chairman, ignoring the jab, turns to Lu and asks about his breakthrough. When exactly did he reach rank 3? The old man looks startled by the question, but Lu answers calmly. He advanced a month ago, under the supervision of Chief Instructor Ching Shu, who personally evaluated his abilities. According to her, the military holds the authority to assess martial artists, and Lu only needed Xiao's formal approval for recognition. At this, the chairman's mood lifts. He confirms everything appears legitimate and agrees to sign off immediately. Not convinced, the old man grabs the documents to see for himself. He flips through the pages quickly, scanning Lu's records. Holding them up, he accuses the boy of forging them. Xiao, now visibly annoyed, snatches the papers back and sarcastically invites the old man to create a forgery himself, if he thinks it's that easy. He even points out the official seal of the Eastern Military District stamped on the documents. Still in disbelief, the old man questions how someone who supposedly got eliminated could have a combat power index of 270,000. Lu sighs. He never claimed he was eliminated. That was just the old man's assumption. To put any lingering doubts to rest, Lu suggests contacting Chief Instructor Ching Shu directly, as she anticipated the chairman might need confirmation. Xiao, amused by the tension, glances at the old man with a smirk and assures Lu there's no suspicion on his part, though he admits he'll still place the call. After all, Ching Shu isn't just any instructor. She's one of the most trusted talents in the Eastern Military District. As the video call begins, Chief Instructor Ching Shu appears on screen. Her eyes immediately catch sight of Lu, drawing her attention before anything else. The call is meant to be an introduction between the Baihe City chairman and Ching Shu. He confirms his identity politely, but the moment he realizes he's speaking to the chief instructor, the old man nearly loses his balance in shock. It truly is her. Just then, Chia, Ching Shu's student and the old man's granddaughter hears her grandfather's voice and becomes curious why he's on a call with someone like Ching Shu. Sensing her distraction, Ching Shu sternly reminds her of her training goals and doubles her task for the day as punishment. The two beside the chairman watch the scolding quietly as the chairman nudges the old man to use the moment to talk to his granddaughter. The chairman then assures Ching Shu that he has received the necessary documents and will see everything through. Pleased with his quick response, Ching Shu tells him to speed things up. Lu has been chosen to represent Dongning Province in the prestigious Morning Star selection. She goes on to reveal that Lu is by far the strongest prodigy in this year's training camp, and that there's little point in having him continue with the regular sessions. The weight of her words hits the chairman hard. He stands frozen for a second before giving Lu a silent thumbs up. Meanwhile, the old man finally realizes that the terrifyingly talented student his granddaughter mentioned before was Lu all along. He quietly sits down to process it, while Ching Shu scolds Zia for letting go of the dream of surpassing that very same boy. When she asks if she still clings to that goal, Zia, shaken, admits she wouldn't even dare face him again. As the call nears its end, Ching Shu requests a quick word with Lu. She informs him that most of the materials for crafting his requested psychic weapon have already been acquired. She promises to share an itemized list with prices soon, and offers to assist with any further purchases. Once he completes the psychic mentalist assessment, he'll be able to access StarWeb to handle acquisitions himself. With that, she ends the call. The moment the screen goes dark, Chairman rushes to Lu like a maniac, unable to believe what he just heard. He confirms that Lu is truly on track for the psychic mentalist assessment. Lu calmly explains that Ching Shu personally recommended him after discovering his gift during the training camp. Overwhelmed but proud, Chairman gives Lu a firm pat on the shoulder. In his eyes, there's no doubt anymore. Lu isn't just talented. Meanwhile, just beside them, Sia's grandfather remains stunned, still processing everything he's just witnessed. Outside the building, Xiao offers Lu a ride home, but he politely declines. He has another place he needs to visit first. Xiao, in good spirits, invites Lu to drop by his house sometime, promising to cook for him and introduce him to a few people. As Lu gets into a taxi, he silently agrees with the chairman's earlier statement. Strength truly rules this world. Even the taxi driver picks up on Xiao's unusually cheerful mood and curiously asks Lu about their connection. Before responding, Lu reflects that the chairman probably feels proud for the first time in a long while. Out loud, he simply says that Xiao is just naturally kind and there's no personal relation between them. Their drive is suddenly interrupted when a large sign falls in front of the car, forcing the driver to brake hard. Lu steps out to check and sees that the fallen sign belongs to the Hongchuan Martial Arts Academy. Curious, he approaches to see what's happening. Inside the academy, things are tense. Master Hongchuan and his daughter are kneeling as a group of thugs, led by Lin, confront them. Despite being a rank 4 martial artist, Lin has come to openly challenge the entire academy, clearly looking to assert dominance. Mi, the master's daughter, accuses him of taking advantage of her father's injured condition. Though weakened, Hongchuan stands and reminds Lin that their academy had already agreed not to recruit new students for a year. But Lin brushes it off, pointing out that anyone bold enough to display a martial arts signboard should also be ready to defend it. Hongchuan doesn't back down. He recalls arriving in Baihe City 2 decades ago with nothing but his fists and built his academy from scratch. If he could do it then, he believes he can hold his ground again. However, his body betrays his resolve as he coughs up blood. He rushes to his side, worried, but he insists he's fine. Len and his men mock the old man's defiance, questioning how a struggling academy could have attracted a rank 2 martial artist like Lu at all. The master's daughter quickly clarifies that Lu isn't even an official student, just someone affiliated with their school. But Lin doesn't care about the details. Fueled by rage, he slams his foot into the floor, venting that thanks to Lu's rising reputation, his own business has taken a major hit. As far as he's concerned, this dojo crossed the line by interfering with his profits, and he plans to make them pay, as he is threatening them. Ni steps forward, asserting that the student who left Lin's academy had joined theirs willingly. Lin already knows this. He didn't come for explanations, but to destroy the academy altogether. In his mind, once it's gone, the students will have no option but to return to him. Irritated by his arrogance, Ni insists on facing him herself. Lin, amused, is more than eager to crush her spirit. From the sidelines, Hongchuan warns his daughter, saying that Lin isn't just some opponent. As a rank 4 martial artist, he's beyond dangerous. Even if Hongchuan were at his peak, the fight would have been uncertain. But Ni reminds him she's rank 3, and together they might stand a chance. Unimpressed, Lin grows impatient. The Martial Association's clock is ticking, and he has no intention of returning tomorrow, so he demands they fight now. Ni fires back with confidence, declaring that once they defeat him, they'll make him parade around carrying the dojo signboard. That remark gets under Lin's skin. With a twisted smile and a dark aura surrounding him, he lunges forward. But before he can reach her, Hongchuan intercepts the blow. Despite blocking, the impact sends him crashing into the ground. Laughing cruelly, Lin mocks the old man, questioning if he's realized the truth, that Lin has already broken into rank 5. He accuses Hong Chuan of hiding behind the academy to avoid real fights and demands to know who's next. At this point, Hong Chuan, exhausted and defeated, announces that he will comply with Lin's wishes and shut the academy down. Hearing that, Ni's heart sinks, her eyes well with tears. She calls out to her father, knowing once he gives his word, there's no turning back. But just then, a familiar voice echoes through the entrance, cutting through the tension. It's Lu who steps in, surrounded by a faint blue aura, asking where he'll train if the academy shuts down. Ni, shocked and uncertain, barely believes her eyes. Lu greets her casually, as if no time has passed. Watching this, the two students from Lin's academy quickly blame Lu for their downfall, claiming it was his influence that made their peers leave. Now focusing on Lu, Lin changes his tone. He compliments his talent and attitude, offering him a place at his own dojo. After all, Hong Chuan's academy, in his eyes, is worthless, led by a man who can't take a single hit. If Lu truly wants to grow stronger, Lin promises to personally pass on the secrets of his family martial style. Lu pretends to be impressed and curiously inquires about the so-called family secret technique. In response, Lin proudly reveals his chest, boasting about his nearly impenetrable defense. He claims the technique is a rare and restricted art, not casually passed down, and says even strong fighters like Hong Chuan couldn't break through his defenses. Few at the academy could. His confidence, however, leaves the dojo master quietly disheartened. Faking interest, Lu questions whether Lin truly intends to teach him such a prized skill. Lin confidently affirms, saying he'd share not just the technique, but everything he knows, if Lu agreed to become his disciple. But just as Lin begins preparing his next sweet-talking line, everything shifts. What Lin sees, or rather senses, feels monstrous. In his mind, it's like a beast with gaping mouths coils around him, and instinctively, he tears off his shirt to brace for impact. His legs buckle under sudden pressure, feet sinking into the ground, body drenched in sweat as he struggles to keep up. Lu, unfazed, playfully gives him a thumbs up for being durable, then immediately follows it with a devastating blow straight to the chest. The hit is so forceful it sends Lin crashing into the wall, collapsing to his knees, unconscious. Lu mockingly questions how someone kneeling in defeat could teach him anything at all. As Lin lies there, one of his shaken companions becomes Steve from Minecraft in disbelief. How could an 18-year-old already wield this much power? Meanwhile, Lu calmly offers a hand to Ni, who blushes and takes it without speaking. Once things settle, he casually asks Hong Chuan not to shut down the dojo, mentioning it's close to his home. Hong Chuan gratefully agrees, offering any future support Lu might need. Lu just smiles, saying he only stepped in this once, reminding them that in this world, strength rules. Next time, they must defend their ground on their own. As he walks away, Hong Chuan still struggles to grasp how someone so young could defeat a near rank 5 martial artist in a single blow, something only peak rank 5 should be capable of. Ni reflects on how quickly time has passed. Barely 3 months ago, Lu had just reached rank 2. Now she can't even guess his current level. As evening falls and night sets in, Lu returns home, greeted warmly by his family. His mother, worried by his delay, asks why he's late, since he'd promised to come back by afternoon. Lu explains that he had stopped to help some weak and elderly people who were being harassed by thugs. This immediately raises concern in his mother, who fears he might have been hurt. But his father, calm and confident, reminds her that their son is now an official martial artist, and helping others is part of a true warrior's path. He believes Lu is destined for something greater, perhaps even to battle monsters one day. Later at the dinner table, Jingyi quietly asks her brother about the mysterious meat he'd sent earlier. After eating it, their father's health had improved noticeably, and her own vitality had risen to 1.1. She suspects it's more powerful than any tonic they've tried before, and jokingly wonders if Lu stole it from the training camp. Lu brushes her off, teasingly pinching her cheek, and assures her it was something he earned through hard work. Their mother, still concerned, asks if the camp is too difficult, reminding him not to overdo it. She's just happy to see him home, safe and sound. His father, however, insists there's more to his son than meets the eye. He believes that even if Lu stumbles or fails, their support will never waver. Hearing this, Lu can't help but smile. In that simple moment, surrounded by the warmth of his family, he quietly promises himself to grow stronger, not just for them, but to protect the world from ruin. That night, in his dreams, Lu finds himself in a familiar battlefield. With just a single punch, he effortlessly crushes zombies, absorbing their powers and memories. He's surprised at how easily he now handles foes equivalent to rank 6 martial artists. As he approaches the heart of the ruined base, he recalls a terrifying presence, a zombie cloaked in a crushing aura that he had once seen atop the central tower. Curious but cautious, he decides to observe rather than confront. Yet before he can react, the powerful zombie leaps down, shaking the ground with its landing. The creature radiates a divine energy, its body seemingly forged from molten metal and dense vitality. Even the strongest martial artists wouldn't stand a chance against its overwhelming pressure. Lu instantly recognizes it as a martial master-level being. Facing the monster, a dark urge stirs within him, a hunger to destroy. Fueled by the battle memories he absorbed, he could suppress it with his crystal technique but refuses, not wanting to lose the edge. Steadying his breath, he shifts into the breath of the wind stance and unleashes Star Impact, ready to face the towering threat. Despite unleashing a fierce attack, Lu is caught off guard when the master zombie remains completely unharmed with its eerie smile still intact. He instinctively leaps back, keeping his distance, surprised that even though he hadn't gone all out, he had still used 6 rounds of his enhanced Star Impact along with buffs from his footwork. The force behind that strike had easily surpassed a combat power of 100,000, yet it failed to even move a finger of his undead opponent. Frustrated, he switches tactics and channels his energy into a more intense technique, Flame Breath, before charging in and striking with Star Impact tenfold. The resulting explosion rocks the area, and sweat pours from his body as he watches the dust settle. But once again the zombie remains untouched. That's when it clicks. The master zombie is protected by an invisible force field. Lu recalls that all true martial masters possess such a barrier, and this one is so powerful that not even bullets could get through. Keeping his distance in case of a sudden counterattack, Lu notices something odd. The zombie still shows no intention of retaliating. Its stance remains defensive, unmoving. Letting out a quiet sigh, Lu finally accepts that he's outmatched. He sits down, exhausted, and begins to analyze the situation. Every time his attacks landed, the zombie's force field absorbed and reduced their power by nearly 99%. It's hard to believe that even in death, this martial master retains such terrifying strength. Yet Lu feels an odd sense of relief that the undead doesn't see him as a real threat, only defending itself. He knows if it attacked, he wouldn't stand a chance. In that moment, he truly understands the vast gap between rank 6 and rank 7, the realm of true martial masters. He thinks of retreating but reminds himself of the potential reward. If he can defeat this undead master, he might gain access to its knowledge and abilities. That thought reignites a spark of determination. He launches a series of relentless punches against the force field. When he delivers his final blow, he instantly retreats again, breathing hard and watching for a response. Strangely, the barrier seems slightly weaker. It's not much, but it's enough to give him hope. Even the smallest sign of progress is worth chasing. Lu decides he'll keep going, even if it means punching 1,000,000 times. With stamina almost drained, he knows a typical rank 3 would have collapsed by now. Only his mastery of natural breathing techniques keeps him standing. But the battle is far from over, and Lu isn't ready to quit just yet. As Lu glances at the fallen zombies around him, a fleeting thought of retreat crosses his mind. Perhaps it would be wiser to return after gaining more strength. But then he recalls something important. Ever since his psychic energy advanced to rank 3, eliminating zombies of rank 6 and below had become effortless. Entire swarms could be wiped out in a single sweep. Yet despite this advantage, he hasn't once tried using his psychic power offensively against the master zombie. He realizes it's because he never learned actual psychic combat techniques. He's always treated his abilities as support tools or as a means to channel the divine illumination of the King of Hell to amplify his vitality. Eyes shut, fully focused, he nearly forgets that his strength as a rank 3 psychic mentalist may even surpass his martial skills. Drawing in his power, he concentrates it into a crystal, a method he's never used as a weapon before, but it feels potent enough. He charges forward and strikes the master zombie directly. The impact lands, but the creature's energy shield remains intact. Undeterred, Lu leaps into the air, gathers his full power into another crystal, and hurls it down. This time, the force field begins to crack, but still doesn't shatter. Pushing past his limits, he creates a crystal 10 times larger. As it descends slowly, it pierces deeper into the barrier. The master zombie watches it with a faint, almost relieved smile. Still, the shield holds. In a final burst, Lu combines his psychic energy with a burst of flame, the tenfold Star Impact, and his perfected martial technique. The explosion is massive, and it finally obliterates the force field. Lu moves in close for the finishing blow. Just before striking, he recalls the sacrifices of those who fought before him, those whose spirits never truly faded. As he delivers the final attack, the master zombie responds with a haunting smile. Lu freezes momentarily, struck by its deep sadness. As the creature falls, Lu begins absorbing its memories and abilities. Among the fragments, a scene plays out. Soldiers saluting a man named Shu Shengning, congratulating him on becoming a martial master. In another memory, panic spreads across the land. Despite efforts by elites from the Star Realm, strongholds continue to fall. A child pleads with him not to leave, but Shu Shengning, now a martial master, chooses to stay on the front lines, prepared to fight to his last breath. The memory shifts once more. Standing before a terrifying rank 9 monster, even a veteran like Xu Shengning feels fear. Yet soldiers cheer nearby, praising Master Wang for defeating such a beast. In their voices, hope still lingers, so long as warriors like him continue to rise. After mastering a new martial technique from Master Wang, Xu Shengning once believed he might break through to the legendary rank 8 Grand Martial Master, but that hope quickly faded as he clutched his bleeding wounds, coldness creeping into his limbs. He wondered if this was how death truly felt. Just before slipping into unconsciousness, he heard whispers that the Martial Alliance had launched the Fire Seed Plan, humanity's desperate gamble to raise an unprecedented rank 12 powerhouse. His final thoughts lingered on whether there was still hope for mankind. Now, Lu regains his breath after absorbing this flood of memories. More than any zombie he had encountered before, he now knows that this powerful corpse was once called Xu Shengning, a master of fist techniques. With Xu Shengning's insights, battle instincts, and lifelong training fused into his mind, Lu's own martial mastery begins evolving rapidly. A blue aura flares around him, and as it turns intense, he realizes he has stepped into the profound control stage. Divine energy seeps from his fingers, the result of decades of accumulated knowledge. Among the memories, a face keeps appearing. Master Wang. Lu wonders if this is the same Wang who developed the legendary star body refining technique. Known as the Eastern Evil Sun, this Wang was said to be one of the strongest martial artists from a distant future, someone even Xu Shengning revered. It's said Xu Shengning once watched Wang unleash a single devastating move that inspired him to craft a new, powerful martial art of his own. But strangely, Lu can't find the skill directly in Xu Shengning's mind. Determined, he delves deeper into the memory fragments, eventually stumbling upon a glowing yellow orb. As he touches it, the world around him shifts. He's pulled into a darker realm surrounded by glowing red eyes. A massive crimson eye with jagged teeth looms before him, and far off he sees a vision of Xu Shengning himself. Suddenly, a radiant beam of divine energy cuts across the void, annihilating everything in its path. Even Lu can feel its power from afar. Through this surreal memory, Lu learns the origin of a near-mythical technique, the 10 suns in the same sky. Inspired by ancient legends of the Golden Crow, the celestial creature said to carry the sun across the heavens. When all 10 crows appear at once, the earth burns and reality tears apart. It was Xi Shengning's final masterpiece, intended to push him into the Grand Master ranks. As the memory ends, light returns, a new day dawns, and Lu, back in his room, sits calmly on his bed. He notices something within. His psychic energy has changed. Something fundamental has awakened. Lu focuses his energy and successfully compresses it into a small, solid pink crystal. While the total amount of his psychic energy remains roughly the same, the transformation in quality is staggering. Compared to others, Zia's energy like air, Qingshu's like water, his now feels like a dense ball forged from pure steel. The moment he clenches his fist, a subtle grin forms. His energy might be equal in volume, but its strength and density are on a completely different level. Lost in his excitement, Lu fails to notice that he has unintentionally lifted an entire building off the ground. Inside and outside, people panic at the surreal sight. Looking around in confusion, he's stunned at how effortlessly he did it. It leaves him wondering just how many times stronger his new psychic state has become. Still, despite the massive leap, he understands that true control will take time and practice. After gently placing the building back, Lu reflects that this level of power is far beyond what most martial artists could even dream of. In terms of raw psychic energy alone, he believes he could crush a rank 3, perhaps even a rank 4, without lifting a finger. But that's not all he gains. A faint psychic force field now surrounds his body, weak but real. With focus, he can enhance its density, though even at full strength, it's nowhere near what he witnessed from the master zombie back in training. Lu's own field is like the fragile shell of a chicken egg compared to the zombie's fortress-like ostrich shell. Still, this seed of power is a clear sign of evolution. It's the beginning of something far greater, his path to becoming a true martial master. Later that day, inside a high-rise suite at Grand Sea and Sky, Lu lounges while scrolling through his phone. A message pops up, someone apologizing for running late. With a thoughtful expression, he realizes that ever since leaving the training camp, he's no longer receiving meals made from monster meat. To maintain his cultivation, high-quality tonics are now essential. It's time, he decides, to meet with someone from the medicinal hall. Not long after, Susu, the alluring owner of the medicinal hall, arrives, slightly out of breath. On seeing Lu's youthful appearance, she relaxes. Assuming he's just another naive student, she mentally prepares to handle the deal with ease. But Lu is calm, focused. He gestures for her to sit as he flips through the menu. Rather than diving straight into business, he chooses to keep things relaxed. He places an order, 40 portions of the restaurant's finest steak, while Susu hands off her coat and takes a seat. still calculating how best to steer the conversation. Unbeknownst to her, Lu's already several steps ahead. While he casually places his order, Susu watches him with a mix of confusion and disbelief. She wonders if he's secretly a pig in human form. His appetite seems endless. Martial artists were known to eat more, sure, but 40 servings of steak, each one costs over 1,000, so the total racks up to more than 50,000. The thought alone makes her nervous. What if he expects her to foot the bill? Just then, Lu glances up and checks if she wants anything. She politely declines, saying she's already eaten. Without wasting time, Lu asks the waitress to hurry with the order, claiming he's starving. Watching him, Susu silently scoffs, finding him really strange. Before she can say anything else, he tosses a file her way. As she skims through it, her face tightens. It's her background. Lu casually narrates the details. Her great-great-great-grandfather had once been an apprentice at the medicinal shop, who later rose to become a rank 5 alchemist and founded the now-fading Xingshan Medical Hall. At its peak, the business had over 200 branches across Dongning Province. But over time, especially by her father's generation, it crumbled under poor leadership. The longer Lu speaks, the more agitated she becomes. To her, everything he says is available online anyway. What's the point of flaunting it? But just as she's about to shut him down, the waitress returns with the food. Unbothered, Lu calmly begins eating while dropping another unsettling fact. He knows her mother, Chen Lan, hasn't returned to Dongning Province in nearly 2 decades, and that she and Susu have never once met. He doesn't stop there. He brings up how their family has been subtly sabotaging the medical hall for years because of their outdated mindset and bad management. Susu finally snaps and demands to know where he's getting all this from. But Lu, still chewing, simply points out that whether it's true or not, all she needs to do is ask her father, Heji. His calmness only deepens her frustration. Memories rush in. Her mother left when she was just 2. After that, the business began collapsing fast. Her father, though not a strong leader, tried to keep it afloat. Stores were closing every other day during those months. Looking back, she had always felt that the fall was too sudden to blame on mismanagement alone. As if reading her thoughts, Lu casually remarks that every time she tried to launch a new partnership, it would mysteriously fall apart at the last moment. As Lu quietly chews his steak, he reflects on the risk he's taking, hoping Miss Susu won't hold it against him for digging so deep into her affairs. Surprisingly, Susu stands and calmly acknowledges his investigation, suggesting they discuss their potential collaboration. In this arrangement, Lu takes charge of developing medicinal prescriptions and training while Medicinal Hall oversees production and distribution. When it comes to profit sharing, Lu boldly asks for 90%. Susu is stunned, nearly offended. If he's going that far, why not just take all of it? Though tempted, Lu knows she wouldn't allow that. Instead, she offers 70%, the highest she's willing to go. Lu agrees, but adds that she'll still need to account for another 20%. He explains that the remaining 10% is for maintaining a long-term partnership, and the other 10% covers something far more personal, protection and revenge. For years, the Chen family in the capital has tormented her family. Lu promises to end that cycle and restore what rightfully belongs to her. To prove he's not bluffing, he unleashes a brief display of his mentalist powers. Susu is frozen in disbelief. An 18-year-old martial artist of the 2nd rank with psychic abilities is sitting across from her in Baihe City. Even though she lacks martial skills herself, she knows the weight those titles carry. She suspects someone powerful must be backing him, and Lu doesn't deny it. That additional 10%, he says, is for both his abilities and his connections. Faced with the reality that the Chen family might come after her again, especially if others use her new partnership as an excuse to strike, Susu realizes she'll have to face them eventually, whether she wants revenge or not. After a pause, she accepts Lu's terms. He then reveals a USB drive containing the formula for a muscle and blood-strengthening decoction. With a light smile, he passes it to her, calling it a promise in digital form. She quietly hopes he'll keep his word. Lu reassures her, encouraging her to file a patent with the Alchemist Association and offering support with the process if needed. He also mentions borrowing her lab in the future and asks her to prepare it. As Lu leaves, he casually says it's been a pleasure working together. Once alone, Susu sighs. She had assumed she could easily steer this deal to her benefit, but the balance of power shifted fast. It doesn't even feel like she negotiated with a student. Instead, it was like facing a seasoned leader. Just then, a waitress approaches, breaking her thoughts by asking if she'll be settling the bill. Susu touches her forehead in frustration. She didn't even eat. And Lu, of course, didn't pay. When she asks how much, the waitress pulls out an absurdly long bill, listing 90 items and totaling over 115,000. At the restaurant, Susu becomes frustrated when the bill shows 90 items, even though she remembers only serving 40 portions. The waitress, smiling brightly, explains that while Lu dined alone with 40 servings, he also placed a separate order of 50 items to take home for his family. As Susu quietly pulls out her card, holding back tears, the waitress warmly thanks her for the generous payment and continues on her way. Chapter 33. Later that evening, Lou arrives at his apartment with a towering stack of food boxes. His mother is caught off guard by the lavish meal and comments on the unnecessary expense. Lou reassures her, saying the bill wasn't his to cover. A wealthy girl insisted on treating him. To keep things simple, he pretends he tried to refuse, but she wouldn't take no for an answer. His mother gently warns him not to take advantage of others' kindness again, regardless of their insistence. She then mentions that Teacher Zhang had dropped by several times asking about him. This reminds Lou that he hasn't been to school in quite a while, prompting him to finally make a visit the next day. At Baihei Third High, Teacher Zhang is sitting in his office when Lou unexpectedly shows up, holding a small bonsai pot. He offers it as a replacement for the one he once accidentally ruined. The teacher is quietly touched by the gesture, but even more struck by the noticeable change in Lou, especially considering how little time has passed. Zhang invites him in, and as they sit, he informs Lou that his school withdrawal process is nearly complete. From now on, he jokes to himself, he'll likely only see the boy on television. When asked about his future plans, Lou casually reveals he's been chosen for the Morning Star selection and will soon be evaluated by the Psychic Mentalist Association. The news stuns Zhang to his core. Sweat forming, he processes the reality. His once average student has become something extraordinary. After a long pause, Zhang accepts that he has nothing more to offer this rising star. He gives Lou his full support, asking him to go out into the world and make a name for himself. As Lou walks away, the teacher silently reflects on just how much he underestimated him. What once seemed like raw potential has now grown into a symbol of pride, not just for their school, or even their city, but perhaps for all of humanity. In their classroom, the atmosphere is anything but focused. While the teacher delivers his lecture, one student is glued to a mobile game and others are either dozing off or lost in thought. Frustrated, the teacher slams his book and urges the class to pay attention, reminding them that their cultural studies aren't just a formality, they're essential if they hope to get into the prestigious Marshall University. As he speaks, a student, Ju, yawns and leans toward his friend Ming, asking if he wants to hit the internet cafe later. But Ming declines, explaining that he's been attending martial arts cram school and needs the extra training. Ju finds this surprising. Ming has already been pushing himself hard lately. Before the teacher can reprimand them further, the classroom door opens, and to everyone's astonishment, Lou steps inside. With a relaxed smile and a casual wave, he enters the room, sparking a mix of excitement and disbelief among his former classmates. Some whisper about his rumored accomplishments, including turning down the mayor's daughter for the sake of martial training, while a few students, visibly flustered, can't believe they're seeing him again. The teacher greets Lou warmly as he expresses a desire to attend one last cultural class. Granted permission, he walks to his old seat while the rest of the students look on in awe. Ju, still in disbelief, wonders if Lou is even the same age as them anymore, having heard that he's already reached rank 2. Meanwhile, Ming, Lou's closest friend, remains speechless, quietly absorbing how much his friend seems to have changed. The class proceeds, but much of the attention remains subtly fixed on Lou. When the final bell rings, the teacher dismisses them with a smile. As Lou rises to leave, the entire class instinctively turns toward him. With a warm farewell, he bids them goodbye, thanking them in his own way. The students feel proud to have shared a classroom with someone like him. Before exiting, Lou places a hand on Ming's shoulder, encouraging him quietly. The gesture hits the fatty deeply. Struggling to hold back tears, he makes a silent vow. No matter how hard it gets, he'll make it into Marshall University, even if it costs him everything. A short while later, in his quiet room, Lou sits before his computer, already one step ahead. He had arranged for Susu to purchase the necessary ingredients for 2 potent concoctions, the muscle and blood strengthening decoction and the marrow nourishing elixir. Both are known for their efficiency in reinforcing the body and bones, ideal for his current cultivation phase. With enough supply, he estimated they'd carry him all the way to rank 4. However, weaponry was a different problem. As a budding psychic mentalist, he lacked access to the Star Web marketplace, since official access required passing an assessment. Without that, he couldn't buy his own weapon, and constantly relying on Shu could easily expose his secret. He knew he needed to make time for the assessment before the Morning Star selection arrived. Curious, he browses through a list of available weapons and is stunned. The Eternal Blade Wheel alone is priced at an outrageous 3,700,000, and the Silver Sky Glider isn't far behind. That's when the memory of the instructors casually handing him a 5 million small reward made more sense. At these prices, they weren't exaggerating. Crafting these weapons required rare materials, Deb steel in particular, valued at a jaw-dropping 9,000 per gram. A single blade wheel would need at least a pound, already overshooting 5 million, and that's without the cost of secondary materials. Worse still, with his psychic strength being above average, standard materials wouldn't cut it. Mithril might work, but the cost would be tenfold. Stuck between absurd prices and his need for a reliable weapon, Lu decides he'll have to gather the materials himself. Thankfully, he discovers a resource distribution map from the Fireweed Repository, which points him toward a promising mithril deposit at Oxhead Mountain. With the map in hand and a glimmer of optimism, he plans to extract the mithril himself, get it forged by a blacksmith, and perhaps even trade any surplus for funds. A week later at the medicinal hall, Susu waits, visibly annoyed by his delay. Lu finally arrives dressed plainly, then quickly throws on a white coat. Though she doesn't hide her irritation, he calmly prepares for the task. As he slips on gloves and inspects the herbs, he mentally notes their decent quality. The total cost had come to around 200,000, which he planned to log in their records and deduct from their profits later. After masking up, he politely asks Susu to step out, needing full concentration for the next step. Susu, though puzzled by Lu's sudden request, obeys without question. As she steps out, her mind drifts back to the fact that the blood and muscle-enhancing tonic hasn't even hit the market. Yet she has already poured nearly $1 million into materials, just for Lu's formulations. Despite the expense, she feels a sense of relief. The guidance Lu provided was thorough, allowing her to complete the decoction with ease. Before leaving, she wonders if Lu is developing a new formula, recalling how he's been visiting the lab daily. She starts to question how many secrets he might be hiding. 3 hours later, Lu notifies her that he's finished. He casually mentions he's heading out for a few days, and assures her the funds for launching the tonic will be transferred soon. But Susu, sitting nearby, shows no interest in his announcement. Lu mutters something under his breath, mixing humor with mild frustration, which only earns him another irritated glance from the old woman. Once she confirms Lu has left, she sneaks back into the lab. She immediately notices a new elixir left behind, something she's seen before during testing. The effects were remarkable, unlike typical tonics on the market, which cost millions and barely reach 4th grade strength. This one directly enhances bone structure and was made from ingredients costing only a few $100,000. Holding the test tube, Susu's mind races with the possibilities. She grits her teeth, suspecting Lu's bag holds more of these unheard-of concoctions. Her thoughts are interrupted when her assistant enters, reporting that he completed her earlier task. He tells her he watched the security feed the entire time, yet saw nothing. It was as if the cameras had malfunctioned, only to return to normal the moment Lu exited. Susu sighs, not surprised. She knows that standard surveillance is useless against a psychic of Lu's caliber. Gazing at a different green elixir she had hoped to replicate, she lets out a tired breath and discards it in frustration. In her mind, she accepts that her only real option now is to follow him faithfully. For her family's future in the city, he might be their only hope. Meanwhile, on a bus weaving through the hills of Chuming, a cheerful tour guide welcomes the passengers. Their destination, Shanlin Village, nestled deep within Oxhead Mountain, far from the noise of the city. She describes it as a 5-star scenic location, known for its stunning landscapes, peaceful atmosphere, and rich local traditions. Visitors, she says, can enjoy authentic regional cuisine, serene views, and even shop for rare handcrafted items unique to the village's culture. As the guide speaks about the local handicrafts, a woman in red stands up, clearly agitated, questioning whether they'll be pressured into buying anything. An elderly woman beside her wonders aloud about the night's stay and whether the mountain swarms with mosquitoes. The tour guide calmly assures the group that no one will be forced to buy anything. They're part of a well-established agency after all. As the yapping is going on, Lu remains quiet and detached from the chatter, lost in his own thoughts. He recalls the marrow-nourishing solution he refined earlier that week, enough to sustain him for days. This mountain feels far removed from the world, and he suspects there may be an undiscovered mithril mine hidden within. The idea of
And that wraps up today's journey through the realm. If you enjoyed this tale, be sure to pain face and comment your favorite moment, and subscribe to become a true realm warrior.